Hello, everybody. How's it going? We've got more We Like Dota League action for you. 2024 Crown Bracket. We're in the semifinals of our upper bracket. That is the wrong Chrome window for you because it likes trolling me. I'm joined by Permasneeze tonight. How you doing, my guy?
Yeah, I'm always turning up for the Savory Characters games as much as I can. I had a little break day, wasn't gonna cast, but I heard somebody had a really big comeback that they needed to make happen. So I was stepping in, but by the time you pop back in, I realized hey, might as well hang out because it's been a while, man.
Yeah, we've not done a cast together in quite a while.
hmm It's always fun though. I think just kind of I still maintain this opinion that despite me casting uh like Dota from all different sort of skill levels and whatnot and like different areas and different parts of the world, WLDL is still fucking hilarious. Like I still find it the most entertaining set of games ever. But maybe that's because I'm biased. I don't know.
No, it is always a good time. I love watching these teams go at it. It is like I don't know. You can meme about it being like low MMR Dota, but there's always so much high skill stuff happening in these games. I don't care
Yeah.
what your MMR is.
I think it's because whenever you come into it, you already have expectations that things will be deranged, and then when they are, it's even funnier because you're like, yeah, that's the WLDL I know and love, right? It's like it's always gonna be a good time. Savory Characters and Marci Beaucoup, two teams that are pretty exciting in their own ways. I think Marci Beaucoup, they've always been this wildcard team in a way that you're not really sure what kind of strategy they're gonna bring out. A lot of it is centered around Relapse Gamer, who seems to be this superstar from the offlane, doesn't ever seem content just going down without a very tenacious fight. Same can be kind of said for the characters, right? They live up to their name. Every single time you go up against them on the high ground, you're gonna wish you never started that game of Dota.
Oh yeah, I cast their last playoff match against Mud Boys in the first round, and it
Oh, dude.
was absolutely bonkers.
I was talking to them on voice call just now before the game and whatnot, just hanging out. And they said, look, if you need to rewatch that playoff game, you need to watch the last 5 minutes of it because we had that poor man Whitehawk seriously reconsidering his life choices. And I'm just like, yeah, sounds like sounds like a classic Savory Characters game.
Oh
Uh
yeah.
Okay, well, draft-wise, we do have some bans and some picks already locked in here. Venge as a first start, probably going into the hands of Bench, I assume.
Yeah.
Venge, Rhymes. The Dr. Seuss metric checks out.
Yeah, it rhymes, so it has to be good.
True. Now, what rhymes with Dragon Knight?
Um, nobody,
Nothing on
nobody on
Marci, but
Marcy
yeah, very sad.
Beaucoup.
Unbelievable. They're already behind in that
um,
regard.
yeah, I can't even think of a stretch unless I
Yeah,
like,
right.
unless
Like,
I'm really
I'm
wrong
trying to.
about pronouncing the
Yeah, unless you really
Nephileon.
just completely butcher the names.
Yeah.
Okay. A
Um.
lot of focus on the Chio to start, as usual.
Oh, there has to be. I mean, we've yet to see a non-Chio ban, especially like this Wyvern. You could argue that the Wyvern is like a support ban or a ban for multiple heroes, normally against Savory characters. But Owl
Yeah.
isn't here. Owl's the other Winter Wyvern player, so I mean, maybe Jort's Connoisseur plays it too, but it
Yeah.
is primarily a Chio ban. OD
Yeah.
not
I
even
think.
necessarily a Chio hero, but it's a mid hero, so that's a Chio ban.
Yeah. According to 4 Beats, this opens up the mid lane big time. So good for them, I guess. Marci Beaucoup. They pick up the Spirit Breaker. That might actually be a sign that they are considering running the Spirit Breaker core because I feel like OD is this big, just annoying factor for Spirit Breaker to deal with. Sure, you can
Yeah.
charge him down, but it's that in prison is just so annoying.
Yeah, I think I like this opening for Marcy Beaucoup because even having like picked these two heroes, which could both be core heroes, you're really not showing your hand at all. The Spirit Breaker can go support or core.
hmm
The Dragon Knight can be in any of the three lanes as a core.
Yeah.
Savory characters, they
Okay.
do find themselves the other banish hero with Shadow Demon, so that's their answer to the Spirit Breaker. Well,
It's
picking up the
it's
Sven
just
pretty early.
dude, this was the hero to deal with Spirit Breaker when it was in the meta, right? I think the Demonic Purge is just so disgusting because it just rips Bulldoze away. There's nothing you can really do about that. I think in lane as well, Spirit Breaker kind of has a hard time running into Shadow Demon because Spirit Breaker likes to just kind of use his insane HP pool to trade against you, and that's not really something you can do standing up against Shadow Poison stack after stack after stack. So I really
Yeah.
like this selection. I'm not too sure what the orientation is because I know for a fact that Vicromon or the Jotsusur or whatever he goes by, in this particular draft screen it says his name is change.org/LMFAO reunion tour. So yeah, I'm not gonna call him that, but Vicro. Between Vicro and Four Fates, there's quite a lot of flexibility between those two players. We've seen them assume a bunch of roles, so not entirely sure where this is going, but we know for a fact this Sven is going to be played by 4 Beats.
Yep. Yeah, I'm curious now what Marci is gonna answer this. Like, I feel like part of why we've been seeing so much Sven lately is like there's not a direct, obvious answer to it, and it answers a lot of other good heroes like your Illusion Cores, anything. Like, you have to be pretty durable. I mean, you've got Dragon Knight Spirit Breaker, so you can take a couple punches from this Sven. It's also just crazy to me the resurgence of the Sven Ags after it. Like, it was running rampant for so long, and then it gets heavily nerfed, and then now it's like, oh no, you get it third item every game on it. Like, you have to have this item. Because the mobility is just so key.
I think the key thing is just that the reason why Sven X was so bad is because you couldn't turn it off. So you just throw yourself into the mix when you didn't want to. Either that or suddenly you just don't have Stormhammer available, which always felt like shit. So I think that change really helped in terms of the quality of life. This is an interesting selection though, because savoury characters, they ban out the Marci, which is maybe a nod to the namesake, but also I thought it was going to be pretty insane into the Sven because one thing Sven can deal with is high physical damage, but Marci just overwhelms you. You can't out team fight or just out man fight her, funnily enough. The Necro is interesting because it does well to dodge out the fizz that comes out from Sven, but then you gotta kind of think that this Shadow Demonic Purge is just gonna ruin you despite, your Ghost Shroud.
Yeah, that's gonna be the big problem because on its face it looks like a nice tanky hero to deal with this Sven, but as long as Savoury's Shadow Demon player is on top of things, you really never get to use Ghost Shroud defensively.
This is also kind of crazy because I feel like Marci Beaucoup, they're going for this like run at you single target lineup, like single target focused kill off lineup, right? But that's into Venge and Shadow Demon. So I think this game is really going to come down to both supports. If they're able to play defensively and appropriately and just kind of really bait out the spells, use disruption as well as swap effectively, Marci Beaucoup have very little options. I mean, savoury characters, they still have 2 picks to round out their draft. They can show up on some of the damage against tanky heroes, and they're going to start out with the Doom. So I like this selection a lot. Just basically eliminating either the Dragon Knight or the Necrophos from the fight without really having to use the Purge.
Yeah, it gives them great control options for DK and Necro. Kind of Spirit Breaker, too. Like, if that guy's a problem running through your fights, you just put Doom on him, and then he stops running around and dies. The Necro does lock in the Spirit Breaker as... Well, I guess it doesn't even quite lock in the Spirit Breaker as support,
the thing, right?
because you can move the Dragon Knight to safe lane, Necro to off lane, Spirit Breaker to mid, or anything like that. Yeah, you do still have the option there. Savoury bans out the Razor, so they're expecting that it's a support Spirit Breaker. Death Prophet taken away. So they've left Chio's character for last, which means we are going to get 7 Chio bans in this draft.
Classic. Nothing new at this point.
No, this is normal Savoury characters drafting gameplay.
True. I think the Death Prophet ban is really good though, because as much as it is a Chio target, it also shores up one of the weaknesses Savoury have at the moment, which is objective pressure. The Sven wants the AFK farm, right? So he's not really punching any towers. I feel like this last pick, Savoury characters have put themselves in a interesting position because as much as the draft looks good in game, like you imagine it in a team fight, it functions well into what Marci Beaucoup have. They don't really have anyone that can set early tempo. The Shadow Demon Vengeful Spirit are great against what Marci Beaucoup want to do, but they don't really allow savoury characters to do anything on the map. It kind of feels like Chio now needs to pick this hero that can not only get objectives, but also threaten kills, be a good body for Venge and Shadow Demon to play into, set up pickoffs. It's just a bit too much. Doom and Sven are so greedy, all things considered.
Yeah. I think Chio is going to pick Sniper here. Because as much as much as that is just another greedy hero, I think it actually can be a tempo setting hero. It can be a hero pushing towers. Like with a Doom, I feel like you actually can build a gank squad out of that, and you have so much save. Like, what are they ever going to do to a Sniper in this game that can kill it? Spirit Breaker starts running at you, he starts headshotting the Spirit Breaker, somebody gets on top of the Sniper, he's swapped, he's disrupted, now there's 2 more Snipers. Like, it's not what you'd look for immediately, but it's the Chio kind of hero. Like, Chio will play the dive heroes, but I feel like she doesn't go for them as often lately on the US East server matches because the ping is just hard. I feel like
in a way you're outsourcing the reaction speed to everyone else, right?
Yeah.
You're like basically saying, okay, I'm just gonna stand here and right click, and my only stress is target prioritization. I don't know though, because I feel like the second you pick a Necro against Chio, she just starts frothing at the mouth, suggesting like heroes that can, oh, I'm gonna burst this Necro, oh, I'm gonna burst these squishy guys so easily.
Yeah.
We'll have to see though. Savoury characters, they don't have a lot of reserve time left, so regardless of who they pick,
we're gonna get like a Puck Dagon from Chio here.
Puck is banned though. Oh, Primal. Oh! Dude, okay. Look, I don't want to take credit for it, but I think prior to this game, we were having a conversation and like in the Discord and whatnot, and I was looking through heroes that I didn't play, right, and I was like, guys, is Primal Beast even fun? Because I know it's a very strong pick, but like I never touched it. Like, I just think it's good. And Vicro was saying, he's played it, it's boring, but it does the job. And then Chio was talking about how, like, oh, I think I have fun when I play it. Like, I do a little bit of Primal Beasting. And, like, dude, okay, I'm going to take credit. But this is a great pick to set the tempo, do everything you need. It only lacks in terms of the building, kitting department. And Marci Beaucoup, nice last pick here with the Wraith King.
Yeah, rounds up, they're so tanky. And I mean, you have a Sven, like, it's not a free game for tanky heroes. But, yeah, I think until that Sven is online, like, it makes it so much harder for Primal Beast to set the tempo of this game. Because you try diving on their carry, and you kill him once, for sure. Like, Primal Beast will absolutely kill a Wraith King once, and then he gets back up and you're dead. And he's not. Like, I like this as the response to the Primal Beast quite a bit. I'm torn because this feels like classic Savoury gameplay where Marci Beaucoup are going to be able to have the earlier tempo, but Savoury will be able to hold. But this isn't the traditional high ground hold team from Savoury. This lineup is going to look to be making some early tempo now that we have this Primal Beast in the mix. You don't have that Sniper Arc Warden that's sitting up on the high ground for you when it gets to 50-60 minutes.
Yeah, I think the main thing that I'm looking at, and I actually favor Marci Beaucou's lineup a little bit more, because I feel like this Dragon Knight is going to be able to run in, hit towers from the 5 to 15 minute mark, and unless both Primal Beast and Doom are in good positions, there's nothing the supports can do about it, right? So in a way, a lot of pressure on Chio, as usual. Hat-wise, I got to say that Savoury characters are packing the heat a little bit, right? The Relapse Gamer Necro is cute. Cephalon's got that shit glowing on him. But I feel like Dragon Knight and Lion have some nicer sets that aren't sort of being shown here. On the flip side, that Shadow Demon's bussin', Forfate's got the tentacles going, Aisha's blinged out, it's all good stuff.
Yeah. Aisha's cheating a little bit because she has 2 hats on. Which does look sick in that combo because it had the extra horn. But now you see it, and which that set is a great Primal Beast set. I think I gotta give the
no
nod
bad
to
set, dude. Like
it's true.
It's kind of the market is spoiled when it comes to Primal. Your selections they're all great. Expensive though, but great.
Yep. It's the plight of a few of the newer heroes that either have no sets or they have a lot of good sets that were all like ultra rares in chess. Like Snapfire is the exact same way.
Dawnbreaker kind of has a similar situation, right?
Yeah.
Dawnbreaker has that really nice Dota Plus set now, which I'm happy about. Not that I play Dawnbreaker or anything, but it's just nice.
Yeah.
Okay, but I guess we talked about the drafts. I would dare say that this is actually a pretty evenly matched draft. Like, I think both teams have the tools that they need to win, and I think that it's just about execution. Oh no,
Beats gets spotted bot. All 5 of Marci Beaucoup is here, and nobody else from Savoury is there to help. They get the full surround, and Beats goes down for the first blood, and Aphelion picks it up. Well, that's gonna set up their mid lane for this Dragon Knight. So yeah, we said Relapse Gamer's the off laner, so yeah, Aphelion...
Wait, what is this? I specifically requested this information. What is he talking about?
Were they talking in the lobby? Oh no, if you go up a little, Beat said, "You invading jungle?" And they didn't say anything. They specifically requested this.
What the fuck? Real?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Okay, but realistically speaking though, I think Beat's got no business being there, you know what I mean? I feel like the level 1 from Marci Beaucoup is so scary that, like, regardless of where you go, you gotta go in a group so you can at least trade out some kills. But unfortunately, that kill goes over to the way of Nephilim, who is already going to have a pretty decent time in this mid lane as the Dragon Knight, so probably just getting to those first few braces a bit quicker.
Yeah. Yeah, should set things up pretty nicely here. I feel like this Primal Beast versus Dragon Knight is interesting, because Primal Beast is a hero that just wants to constantly run you over, and Dragon Knight is a hero that wants to do nothing in the lane. Just stand there, hit creeps, you can't do anything to him. And oh, that's a nice push up to the high ground, so he's just gonna get some cheeky little hits, even gets a tower shot in there. But it's Dragon Knight, so he's just gonna chill.
Yeah, I think the key thing that I noticed in this matchup is that Dragon Knight doesn't really build bottle, right? So you are free to go for more bracers, and Primal Beast, essentially, he needs his resources in terms of the mana. So, Aisha will be building up that bottle for herself, but that doesn't really pan out too well for the Primal Beast because Dragon Knight essentially has more last hit damage, and then at a certain point it just starts out-denying you and whatnot. So they'll pressure the Primal Beast to have to use Trample for last hits, it's this whole thing. So I think resource-wise, Nephilim should be in a good spot, unless Aisha can make some creative plays.
Yeah. Let's see, what do we got going on in other lanes? Got... bot, I feel like there's...
You got the most boring lane in Mankind. Like,
yeah.
To Mankind. Like, literally nothing's gonna happen, because even if you try for a setup on the Relapse Gamer, he's just gonna walk away and Cephalot's gonna charge through.
Yeah, like, there's a world where you get a Stormhammer on a Spirit Breaker, you get 2 stacks of Shadow Poison on him, and then he still just kind of walks away.
I kind of would have liked to maybe see the Venge in the bot, because even though I did talk about the Shadow Demon and Spirit Breaker matchup, it's kind of hard to see a world where they kill off Relapse.
Coming Winter gets so low with the Blood Grenade coming through, but able to back away. Get safety of the tower.
What the hell? That was scary. How did they even do that? Was it just a stun and walk you down? Like,
oh yeah, pretty much. Which is the only way that Avenge Doom Lane is ever going to kill you, right?
That's true. That's true.
They're gonna stun you, they're gonna scream at you, and then the Doom's gonna walk at you with Scorched Earth, and you're probably gonna die. Like, if you're a Lion and that happens to you, you're just dead.
Yeah, true.
Oh, bot.
Yeah.
The lane that we slandered for being boring is about to have 3 kills in it. As Beats goes down, Vikromond, trying to get...
Come on, Vikro, you gotta go big here.
It doesn't quite connect.
I mean, Relapse still had a stick too, so I mean,
yeah.
we were hyping that up for nothing.
They were both... Cephalord and Relapse both got very low there. But able to heal back up and back off. So they get that Sven kill for pretty free at the end of the day, because this is Necrophos. He's going to heal right back up. Like the hero with the least resource problems of anybody.
Out here, I don't even think it's that bad, because Beats doesn't really lose a lot of last hits, and all things considered, Relapse isn't doing as well on the farm as I thought. With the dominance that they had in the lane, I thought, this guy would be cleaning house.
Yeah.
But still pretty even in the Sven so far.
Yeah. 8 last hits apiece. And yeah, when it like Beats, it really just needs to survive this lane. You're a Sven. You're gonna hit all the creeps in the world. You just need to not have your lane absolutely ruined, and then you're gonna be, you know, right back up at the top once you start hitting that jungle.
The tricky thing is that Bench kind of has his hands full with trying to help Fates out in this lane. Doom isn't really a hero that can leave by yourself against a Lion and a Wraith King. So, you know, these stacks might come a little bit later than, you know, Beats would like.
Gotta get the stun up onto the Lion. Scorched Earth still on cooldown, so Raiden's going to be able to escape for the moment. Coming Winter trying to turn the heat back around. Throws out the skeletons. They're chasing down Benj. Those things hurt. Looks like we'll just be able to escape.
Fates is one man pressuring the both of them down.
Yeah, that Scorched Earth.
The heat up.
Oh, and here comes Aisha. Charging through with the onslaught from behind the tower. That's enough on its own. Looking to trample through. The Wraithfire Blast connects. Coming Winter burning down, trying to escape. No abilities for Aisha here to be able to close the gap, and
you have to TP out. 4 seconds and you're dead. I think you need a TP out there. You know Chio's gonna go for it every single day of the week. Let's go! Last auto attack.
One last bonk. Raiden's gonna come in here to get some harass, and when your mid tower isn't even taking damage, you fortify, you TP home, you wait for the Lion to lose vision of you, and completely free.
Yeah, that was just an excellent rotation because you don't really expect it before the power rune.
Is it free? High five offered.
Wait, what? Nef just started. Nef just stopped. What was that?
Yeah, that was interesting. I feel like an auto attack and then a breathe fire just kills. I mean, you're gonna go for it now. Has another Dragon Tail, and that'll be the kill. Just okay, wanted the extra style points. Wanted to show their respect.
I think Aisha might have just, you know, like, I don't know what that was, but like maybe she just thought, okay, it's probably better if I get a reset. I don't know why the courier is just standing in the middle of the lane. Probably a bit of miss micro as well. So ends up going down there. Nice play from the Dragon Knight to pick that one up.
Ooh, charge coming out on Vicro. Yeah, wanted to contest the runes. Gets into the dispersion, so gonna waste a little more of their time.
Oh, they did.
But they do finally bring him down. But the rune spawned top, so it was all worth it. Vikromon successfully secured that arcane rune for Bench, according to plan. Oh, getting chased down by Coming Winter. Another coming attack. Another Coming Winter attack comes in. Bring down forfeits. But the other return kill, Bench shows up. Has that arcane rune. Ooh, probably not going to quite have the stun, even with the reduced cooldown. Line will get out. Yeah.
Non-stop action here, as we expected.
Yeah, both of these teams with some early tempo setting lineups, so already getting the action well underway.
Looks like Chio was looking for some action in the bot side, but 7 minute. No, the wisdom rune, Raiden.
Oh, Raiden,
little bugger. Oh my goodness. Big mistake from the savoury character lineup, just not paying attention to the timing.
Yeah. Ben just probably looking at the clock now, realizing hasn't seen the Lion in a little bit. It's like, ah, shit. Yeah. Down bot, Beats taking some fire again. Seth Lord doesn't have a charge, it's already committed it. Aisha come in to get the heat off of Beats, and now they maybe look to turn it around. 6 Shadow Poison stacks on Relapse Gamer. Aisha connecting in.
Bye-bye.
Oh, this guy's so dead.
Overrise.
And now it pops, yeah.
That's kind of the tricky thing with a hero like the Necro. You want to outlast, but you're not outlasting Shadow Poison. That's just such an insane amount of magic burst that if you stick around the fight for a bit too long, you're gonna get clapped. And Vicro, I think, executing that very nicely.
Yeah, and until you have Death Seeker, you're such an immobile hero.
Oh, sorry for baiting you. I thought they were diving there. Coming Winter was so low.
No, you're totally good. Yeah, Coming Winter, I mean, it's just chilling on no health. Healing back a bit now with some crits coming through.
Dude,
over the mid lane.
Coming Winter CS, what the frick?
Yeah, that's...
He has nothing.
That's surprising. I mean, there has been a lot of pressure from Forfates, but...
Yeah, but this is like... I mean, look, we talked about the Veg Doom lane, like, okay, the only way they're gonna kill you is with this Scorch Earth run and usage. But, like, they haven't really killed Coming Winter. Oh.
Beats. Getting run at.
Oh, that's a grief.
Gets into the disruption. No. All calculated. Oh! No, it does set up the Scythe. Forfeits, though, is going to come in to connect. Doesn't have Doom available yet, but that's Scorched Earth, burning down Relapse Gamer, and there's all these Shadow Poison stacks on him again. Gonna pop another time. Charge through from Cephalord, wants to get the return kill. Raiden gonna connect as well. Sets up the stun into the Hex, another disruption. Can this one get Forfeits out? Cephalord still trying to find it.
Dude, I kind of feel like these disruptions would be a lot more useful on your opponents. But I think Vico at the moment, he's just kind of like, you know, he's just kind of trying to throw out as many spells as possible to try and save his allies, which I respect.
Yeah. Up top, Beats heads top to try to find somewhere that the farm is less contested. He's now going to trade blows with Coming Winter for a bit. Aisha also makes the rotation up here. They want to find the Wraith King before he gets level 6 for the Reincarnate.
Oh. Well, there he is.
Onslaught forward, trample. This guy's so dead. It's a nice little juke for a moment, but then the Pulverize is there. Phyleon arrives just in time to get hit by the last wave of Pulverize, and Aisha's gonna walk away. Job done.
Look at this. Nephilim going for a pretty interesting build here. Looks to be queuing up the Orchid with the Oblivion Staff already.
Yeah, that is an unusual Dragon Knight build. I feel like there's been a little bit of a void ever since the Mage Slayer nerf of like, do you still just go Mage Slayer first? Do you just rush the Blink Dagger, play active? I feel like this would be a good game for Blink Dagger. The Orchid's another way for him to get more active and, you know, disrupt Aisha's movements more.
It looks like Marci Beaucoup are setting up in this bot side. They have 3 heroes just kind of circling around the area, but this Doom and Shadow Demon combo, it's kind of a hellish combo to dive into.
Yeah, Relapse Gamer gonna head top now. There's not really anybody home top, and now Aisha's making her way down to the bot lane. They scan out the Twin Gate. We're gonna see that somebody pops through. So as long as Beats doesn't go much further out than this buy angle, should be completely fine. Yeah, they're gonna see all these heroes hitting the tower. They're just gonna go contest mid instead. Aisha, onslaught forward, stunned up by Raiden.
Perfect.
Nice timing.
It's not gonna matter though.
Oh, the Hex does not matter at all. That's another haste rune.
Yeah, Aisha's just really lucky with these runes so far, and I mean, it's gonna pay off. They're able to put on some pressure in the tower, but the full rotation, 4 members of Marci Beaucoup coming to this mid lane.
Oh, the stun to prevent the charge from connecting. Looks like if anything, they're just gonna get bent, but has a good amount of movement speed on this Vengeful Spirit. Now get the Dragon Tail to connect. Yeah, okay, that's a very dead Vengeful Spirit.
There was a world where Bench actually swapped in the
Oh, they go forward with the Nether Strike, but just immediately into a Doom. Disruption on the Dragon Knight. Spirit Breaker's dead. Illusions start hitting on Nephileon. Forfeits, though, taking quite a bit of damage, but there's the Pulverize hitting all 3. Scythe is going to come down. Reincarnate for Coming Winter means Aisha's going to drop too. It ends up being Spirit Breaker for 2 heroes. Yeah, that's what we saw with this draft. It's so hard to get the damage you need to bring these down until you've gotten a bit more item progression.
Level 4 on the Death Pulse doing so much work that fight. Like, I think they dropped low. Aisha was trying to do as much damage as possible, but until you get any sort of healing reduction, there's nothing that you can really do to cut through this HP. I do have to question the Doom out onto the Spirit Breaker, because at that point he's already used all his spells, right? All he can do is just kind of fish for a little bit of a bash. I can't help but feel like that Doom on either the Dragon Knight or maybe that Necro would have been far more useful. But because of that, Marci Beaucoup, they get themselves into an excellent position where they get a huge chunk of EXP, essentially a 2k gold swing, and get themselves a bit of an advantage. Take a look at the net worth from this Dragon Knight. It's nasty.
Oh, I have been a fool and not switched over to our net worth graph yet. Yeah, the Dragon Knight way out ahead. All of the other cores pretty similar as, yeah, Beats controlled up. They find the hunt before Fates is in. Doesn't have Doom, but they're going to turn right onto Raiden. God Strength activated, and Scorched Earth is going to just burn this line down. Cephalord trying to find somewhere to escape, but you're in the far reaches of the map. What?
Nice.
What? Oh!
Nice.
Just right behind the tree.
Around the centaur.
I know, the centaur.
Gave him away.
That's ridiculous.
Agent Centaur. trying to sell you out. Ain't gonna happen. It's punished for sin. Just get beat down. Wait, Sephiroth's still just standing in here.
He's just stuck. I think the centaurs have backed him in. He has to TP or charge out. He'll finally TP.
No,
up
he
the
has
top.
phase boots, dude. What kind of...
Oh.
Oh my god.
Oh, he does have phase boots.
Yeah. I guess either way,
He's just
that's a very
deciding where to
awkward
go,
angle
I
to charge
think.
from, right?
Yeah.
Okay. 40 minutes, 9 to 9. Yeah, like you mentioned, the Dragon Knight has his Orchid now, and maybe we're gonna see more smoke moves try to come out and try to pick off these Savoury characters heroes, because they have some very good deep vision set up in the jungle of Savoury characters actually.
Yeah, let's see. We've got Ryan smoked up, finally on as well. They want to play around this biangle ward. But Beats and the Savoury crew just not giving them anything to work with. They know that they're up here. Yeah, they're seeing them on their own ward now.
Yeah, just have to give up that stack unless they really want to fight into this core, which feels impossible at this stage, right? Relapse Gamer, the only thing going for them is that they don't have a lot of mana on this Necrophos. Yeah, but that's what the Lion's for, just pops it back up.
Yeah, there's some nice interactions between these heroes.
I keep forgetting you can do that.
It's so good. Like, Lion's kind of just the best mana battery hero now. Like,
yeah, right? Which is... what the hell?
Yeah. We're gonna smoke up on 4, Seth Lord, I think sees Vikermon, breaks on him. But they're like, do we really want to go on a Shadow Demon this far behind the tower? If I charge, I'm just gonna get banished. Meanwhile, Aisha's just getting the bottom tier 1 tower for free. They're gonna have the skeletons connecting, so Savoury characters gonna have to do something if they want to keep this tier 2 tower up.
And Viker's really hesitant about throwing these Shadow Poisons out because he's worried that he might just get jumped at any moment.
Yeah. There's not really... I mean, it's only the Spirit Breaker at this point. There's no Blink Daggers on Marci Beaucoup yet. And if you're getting charged, as long as you have the vision, you have the disruption for it.
I mean, they're just concerned because they haven't really seen the Dragon Knight's next item yet. He was floating around like almost 2k gold. So they're not sure where exactly where Nephilim is, if that's where their sort of attention is at. So probably just playing a bit more conservative. It's a lot of damage on this tier 2 though. You gotta imagine that Marci Beaucoup will be making a round trip for that one.
Yeah. Yeah, they nearly brought down the whole thing at 15 minutes, which is a little nuts. So, yeah. Sure they'll find their way back there. Or just at some point, coming winter, we'll be farming the lane, pops out a bunch of skeletons, and the tower dies without even really trying. It looks like now they'll head out towards the bottom lane. You've got Damage Amp up on Lion. Looking for the Fat Finger if they can get a team fight before this rune expires.
Yeah. I mean, right now, it's clear that Marci Beaucoup are in complete control of the map, right? It really boils down to all these wards that they've placed very, very deep in, giving them so much vision and just a complete map of where Savoury characters are standing at any given moment. They can afford to feel so confident, right? I mean, coming winter, even though he's had a really, really bad start, he's managed to sort of come back off of piggybacking off of his stronger cores, and now he has almost that Radiance complete, I think. Well... Okay, well, I didn't realize, number one, that he was gonna die like that, and number two, he actually opted to go for the Boots of Travel Rush over the Radiance. Not really sure what this man is cooking, but I don't know whether I like the taste of it.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what's in the pot, but he sure is cooking. But hey, they
fine
they
dining
get that
restaurant,
early.
is it a soup kitchen? I don't know.
It's one of those experimental places, I think.
Yeah.
You're like, I paid $2,000 and you put a shoe on my plate. It's a nice looking shoe, but it's a shoe.
Yeah, you cut into the shoe and then inside they show like there's just like a long document about the detailed statistics of like sweatshops across the world. And then you're just like, I'm hungry as shit, man. What am I gonna eat? Then they just give you a fortune cookie. It's sad. Okay, momentary quiet here, as it seems like Marci Beaucoup still want to heat things up. You can tell from the way they're posturing around the map, they still want to find action non-stop. They don't want to give savoury characters any breathing room. Understandable, given that their heroes can farm up and definitely put on a good fight later on, but advantage-wise, it still seems to be leaning into slightly savoury characters' favor just off the gold alone.
Yeah, interestingly, like, yeah, Savoury character's small gold lead is top. They're gonna set up on Coming Winter, who doesn't have Reincarnate because he died to the tower bot. Oh,
I don't know, like, I think the whole thing with this Wraith King is that he is currently your position 1, and he's level 10. Like, he doesn't even have, like, second level ultimate. I'm not sure who peer pressured him into getting these boots or travels, but it really feels like just a bad mistake, right? Like, it's like one of those things where you're like, oh, I could be having so much farm, and sure, you can address waves on the map and whatnot, but Radiance just allows you to have a greater uptime on your Vampiric Spirit Skeletons because you're just casually killing creeps. It just amplifies your pressure on the map so much, and I really don't know what this is about.
Yeah, I am not sure either. I mean, now we're seeing it do what it feels like it's supposed to do, where it TPs out to a lane, gets that pushing out. Like, almost going to be positioned to be like a discount Nature's Prophet, where you can TP out on the map and drop a bunch of summoned units and push a building. But I don't know. I don't know if that's it. But I don't know. I think, on the other hand, like, we talked about the flexibility of Marci Beaucoux's draft. You're also not super relying on this Wraith King. You've got a Dragon Knight. This guy has been a carry hero for a while. And, like, also is doing a little bit of a weird build, has this Orchid, but has been having a good game, nearly to the Manta, as they get the stun up on Doom, charging forward with Cephalord. Disruption comes out, which means they have Dragon Knight illusions back the other way. The Finger and Scythe just deletes the Doom, and there's that tier 2 tower they were pushing a while ago. Now they're going to be able to finish it off.
That might be one of those situations where you actually disrupt your own core instead. So I think
the value
at the start of this game,
it's right? Like you have the Dragon Knight Manta before the Dragon Knight had Manta. It's so good.
Yeah, but the Dragon Knights killed your teammates, so I don't really know why that's so good. Oh, wait, this is kind of significant here. Cephalord getting Planar Pocket, which is something you don't really talk about, but he's going to be able to absorb one of these very high-value abilities. Think about if you're trying to doom the Necro or the Dragon Knight, and he just Planar Pockets that shit. That's gonna be so annoying, dude. Like, you got so many high-value single target, Pulverize, Disruption, Storm, every single thing Savoury characters have is just a single target stun or disable, and now he's gonna be able to yoink that shit right onto himself and body it for his team.
Yeah, you kind of just, like, took a tower and then poked your head into the jungle and found a Lincoln Sphere on the ground. It's like, oh, sweet. Like, this is exactly what I needed, but I didn't want to invest the gold in. This is really valuable in the game. We're gonna see some weird things where, like, can this, like, redirect the swap? It only redirects away from your teammates, right? Like, it's not gonna stop the save.
So how it works is that like, essentially, if someone targets it on his ally, regardless of whoever it is. So I think it can actually stop the swap, because it does that on any enemy targeted ability. It doesn't have to be targeted on its ally.
That's
kind of fucky. Dude, this is where Cephalord goes like BKB Refresher and double Planar Pocket.
Yeah.
That's actually insane, dude. What the hell?
Yeah, you thought you were saving your ally? Surprise, you saved me.
Yeah, it was me, Cephalord. Kind of hairy now. I feel like savoury characters, even though they can maintain this lead, this last pick Primal Beast hasn't really done as much for them as they would like. And that's kind of a tough thing to put on Aisha, because it's not like she's playing bad, right? She's done well in terms of the early rotations, but it feels like there's such a weight on her meaty shoulders that that you just can't barrel through these cores right now, even though their item builds have been a bit greedier.
Yeah, it's the tankiness of these heroes that like you can set up on any of these cores. You can onslaught in, you can trample all over them, you can pulverize them, and then they're at like 2/3 health, and you're like, oh boy, I got him. It's just a hard Primal Beast game, and I feel like the trouble is going to be that this hero doesn't scale super hard. So you're not going to have this timing where, okay, now I'm killing everybody. You're kind of just always a disable engine, and you'll get better at doing that. But you're never going to do more damage. It's all going to be on beats to be able to
that does depend on the build that Aisha goes for, because I've seen some Primal Beasts in pro play. They go for essentially full damage talent. So they get onslaught damage, trample cooldown, trample attack multiplier, and later down the line when you get stuff like item or maybe even sort of neutral items that amplify spell damage, like Whisper of the Dread, that people like to get tier 2, and later down the line some people even get the Timeless Relic. You're crunching through these heroes. The Aghanim's as well is going to help a lot because of that break. Like breaking up the Spirit Breaker, breaking up the Necro, breaking up the Wraith King, and the Dragon Knight, all very useful. So I think this Primal Beast pick is great later down the line, but it's going to take a very long while for Aisha to get up to that stage, which is, I think, your concern.
Yeah. And yeah,
also she's gone for like the sort of defensive talents instead.
Yeah. Yeah, and has the Ags queued up, but the Eternal Shroud first, so is leaning more into the durability, which like that is the other option here. Your cooldowns are pretty low, so if you're able to survive just as long as the enemy team's able to survive, now you start, you get to cast these spells multiple times and deal more damage that way. And I think it is like, we say like, oh, well now it's all in the hands of a Sven, but it's in the hands of a Sven. You don't need other damage. It's a Sven. Like, as long as you're controlling the enemy heroes, Sven gets his items, he's gonna kill everybody.
I wonder whether that Sven damage is going to be enough, to be honest, because I feel like, take a look at the armor that's coming out from the side of Marci Beaucoup already. You got Radiance, which means that Sven is going to be missing some of his auto attacks. He doesn't want to build the MKB. You got this Necro with a Shivas, as well as his Ghost Shroud, which we already mentioned. You got Dragon Knight, who just has a bonus, like what, 13 armor just for existing. It's not... I don't know whether Beats can actually just rip through them as much as he'd like. Maybe 1 or 2 targets, but it feels like you're entering a swimming competition with a fish. You know what I mean? Like you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm going to outlast you and outdamage you in an extended fight. Yeah, okay, well, good luck against that. There's mana drain, there's Necro, there's like 2 lives on the Wraith King. I get the jump up here on the top side, they'll want to relapse.
Yeah, but this is who they gave the Aegis over to, and now it's Fate's getting controlled up. The Scythe is there, the Doom is just dead.
Yeah,
Everybody else on their retreat.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the plan was there, because I think the only way that happens is if Aisha is there to set up, but she was busy farming away in the mid lane. So clearly a bit of a misconstrued, I guess, attempt from the Savoury characters, and now they're gonna feel some pressure on the high ground as a result.
Yeah, they're gonna buy back on Doom. They want to defend here, as is their specialty. Aisha trampling over everybody. Forfeit stepping up, still does have the Doom available. They get pulverized, they bring down Coming Winter once. Relapse Gamer getting pretty low as well. Sacrifice will have the second life to work with. Okay, they get the Aegis off, they get the swap out on Forfeits. If you can get the Doom on Relapse Gamer on the respawn, no, they're all going to be able to walk away. So, they hold, cost them 1 buyback, but they keep quite a bit of damage off of the tower, and Savoury characters, it's still really a pretty even game when you look at the stats. It's 10-11, it's only a 4k net worth lead, but they go back to their comfort. We're in the Savoury characters high ground portion of the game at 28 minutes.
Yeah, I do have to wonder whether that Doom buyback was necessary, because Forfeit, sure, he did a lot of work, but I think a large part of that entire situation was just Chio, right? She created so much space. That was the BKB reveal. The Blade Mail also made it difficult for them to commit. They essentially got that entire reincarnation for free. The only tricky thing was that you could tell Forfeits wanted to wait for Relapse Gamer to come back the second time to Doom, but by the time that happened, they were already sort of out of resources. I think regardless of how that happens, you weren't ever really under any threat there as savoury characters because the scythe had already been used, right? So it's not like Aisha was just gonna get bursted down. And there was still... It all starts because of a really nice just kind of disruption from Vicro, so props to him. And yeah, like you mentioned, this is the savoury character's comfort. You come for the king, you better lop his entire neck off, you know what I mean? Like, you can't just do a little poke and prod onto them.
Radiant are scanning.
Nice item build up here for Nephalon. He's going for the Lincoln Sphere, which is just such a value pickup. I was wondering whether anybody on the team of Marci Beaucoup was going to build something like a Lotus. Probably most realistic on the Necrophos. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of in tandem with how valued the Planner Pocket is this game, right? Being able to redirect or just reflect some of these spells, just going to completely ruin the fight for savoury characters.
Yeah. Yeah, when they get that Lincoln Sphere timing, it is going to be all that much harder. I mean, it feels super necessary against a Doom. Eventually we'll see the Ags on the Doom to counteract it. But still, it limits your options in how you approach the fight. Gotta be really careful playing around the Lincoln Sphere. I guess on the other hand, with so many things that it blocks, there's plenty of things to pop it to make sure that you can get that Doom off on the right target, but...
I mean, the issue is that you don't really want to be using any of it to pop Lincolns, right? Every single one of these tools is so important. And nobody on Savoury actually has any, like, 4-stars or Yules or Orchids. Nothing single target in the way of items to just kind of casually break that out. So they're going to have to be very intentional with their spell casting and a lot more careful. You can't just throw them out in panic. You need to make sure that you're layering them correctly on the targets that you want. Smoke out here, though. Looks like Marci Beaucoup want to set up.
Oh, they get the stun on Beats, but don't actually choose to connect with that. Seeing the rest of Savoury characters joining in behind them.
Dude, his build is hilarious. He has a Deso. He hasn't been getting much kills, man. 2, 4, and 3 on this Wraith King. It's been rough, but he's still trucking on here, trying to do his job as that body.
Yep.
And Beats has been doing a great job keeping up, and now has the Axe complete, so has that option to Stormhammer in.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see the Superman flying through now. Let's see. Riding halfway to an Ag Scepter on the Lion. With that big AoE damage. Yep. Eternal Shroud finished for Aisha, so now looking at that Aghanim Scepter as well.
Whitehawk, you ever play Hearthstone?
I used to play Hearthstone for a while. I'm a big Magic the Gathering enjoyer, so I was like,
I respect it.
Mobile phone.
That's fair.
Magic.
True. Yeah, it's fun as hell. But you know what's not fun? Those old school Hearthstone decks where they get you to fatigue and both of you are taking damage. I feel like that's what Savoury characters, like playing against them, is like. They put you into that fatigue position, but they're so used to it, and their entire lineup is tacked around it, that they don't mind doing this little patrol, slap each other on the sort of back, while they're walking around here just looking at each other. Yeah. This is their natural habitat. While you have to stand outside there waiting, hoping, just kind of trying to fish some sort of opportunity. You're 8k gold lead up, but it doesn't even feel that way. Now they'll smoke up and try and find an option. Maybe they can get a good pick off here.
Yeah, they're going to head out into their jungle. Vicromond kind of leading the charge. The rest of the team not quite with the Shadow Demon, but Aisha connecting now. They break, they find Ceph Lord.
Uh-oh.
But the rest of Marci Beaucoup, they're wrapping in behind. They get the stun, the setup. Onto Aisha, look to charge through, nice save from Vicromon to interrupt it. Scythe comes through, but it doesn't do anything to Aisha. Now the Doom and the Pulverize onto the Necro. They bring down Defileon and Relapse Gamer. Vicromon does finally get brought down by Coming Winter. Beats flies through, connects onto Raiden. And favorite characters, I thought that had gone horribly wrong for them. As I saw the start of that fight break out, it was like, oh, they had no idea that Marci's behind them. They just turn, they fight him, they target priority correctly, and yeah, they trade one support for 2 cores and a support. It's exactly...
Big fumble. That's a huge fumble. The fact that they allow Aisha to get her BKB off, I think they just momentarily got confused because they didn't expect the smoke coming out. But the one thing that you have an advantage of in these situations where you're pushing high ground is, number one, you set up 2 great wards. One in the triangle and one in the bot side. You know no one's out there. You don't see anybody. The creep waves are pushing in. You don't see anyone defending. You have to make the read that they're smoked out somewhere under your vision. But I think Marci Beaucoup fall into that false sense of security that you can so very often when you feel like you're ahead, and they just get caught with their pants down. The second Aisha pops up, it's a split focus, right? Some heroes on trying to focus down the Primal Beast, some heroes need to deal with Vicro, who has just popped up trying to kill off your Spirit Breaker. I think in that moment, comms are probably sounding a bit weird, and they don't really get the connection that they need to. Huge win for Savoury, but okay.
Yeah, now
This
down
Aisha
at the
kill
Twin
still.
Gate, both teams have a ward up here, and they charge onto Aisha, but able to back away, and the rest of Savoury characters connecting. Raiden
Beats
looking
popped that
to
God
join
Strength,
the
though.
action. Oh, Beats is going in. Flies right in, but nice interrupt by Raiden. Now they turn to Phyleon. As the Dragon form, the BKB on Beats is there. Aisha back in the middle of it. Doesn't quite have her BK... Or no, is BKB'd up. Forfeit's in the middle as well. Relapse Gamer is going to be the target again. Controlled up, but gets away! Huge stun to be able to get away. Scythe doesn't quite kill Aisha, but they find the cleanup from the Phyleon. Buyback from Cephalord. Finger of Death brings down Beats.
My goodness, dude, the MVP of that entire fight, as it's not even over yet, as Vicromon will go down, but they'll be able to grab that second Roche for themselves. The MVP of that fight is the Eternal Shot on Relapse Gamer and the Eternal Shot on Aisha. The only reason why they're able to finish Aisha off is because out comes that sort of good control from the rest of the team. It was a nice try, but I think Savoury characters, they kind of jump the gun a little bit, right? They see Aisha getting charged and Beats just pops that God Strength, kind of baiting his team into going to that fight that they didn't really have the resources for. They were already a bit scattered and not in a good position. They didn't have vision control at that point. And Raiden just lands Earth Spike after Earth Spike, and the control is insane. Very, very well played from Marci Beaucoup.
Yeah, it was such an awkward spot because... Feels like Savoury characters, they're sitting up around this outpost, they have control of the Twin Gate, they're feeling like they have the high ground advantage. With Marci Beaucoup, they back out just the right amount of distance to where now suddenly they're up by this Watcher, by the Lotus Pool, they have the high ground, and Savoury characters, yeah, trying to catch up with Beats and Aisha as they charge in, and it's all right into the hands of Marci Beaucoup, which is also where this Aegis and Cheese go as they pick up the second Roche.
It's funny that the Wraith King has cheese duties here as Raiden. Oh, just beautiful blink away. Playing with them, they probably heard the Primal Beast sound effect coming through.
Yeah. Yeah, the last time I was playing with a Primal Beast, I'd be like halfway across the map, I hear a Primal Beast noise, and I tense up because I think I'm getting gone on. It's like, oh wait, no, that's our Primal Beast. And he's not, he's just charging through a camp. Like...
Yeah, support players unite, bro. Like, that's real. I remember when it first got released, it would just gank you at like level 3 just because it could.
Yeah.
Actually the most infuriating thing ever.
I love those weird little balance changes they have to make when they release a new hero. It's like increased the volume on Primal Beast's Onslaught. Made it so that you can always hear Hoodwink charging up her ult, even through vision.
Yeah.
Reduced Grimstroke's model size, because he's way too fucking big. Like,
yeah, why is he that huge? Like, he's just wearing a skirt. Like, it's what the hell are we doing here? Yeah, I get it. It's hilarious, though.
So with this Aegis, is this what it takes to break the Savoury high ground? History says it's not enough. But like, what more can you do? I mean, you could have... If you just won that fight a little faster and then held Roche on the Radiant side, you could have had a Roshan's banner to also not be enough to break into the high ground. The Dragon Knight's going to do quite a bit of work, has the Manta style, getting those illusions crashing into the tower. And Raiden's being such a nuisance over on the side with this ward, protecting it, keeping them controlled up, that's giving Nephileon the space. Quite a bit of damage on this tower. It looks like they should be able to get this tier 3, but there's the Fortify. And Marci Beaucoup
the problem is that they can just rinse and repeat, right? They can do this every single time Dragon Form is up, there's nothing really stopping them. Savoury, they need to go for initiation or some sort of jump if they want to repel the defender, the attackers here. Sorry, but I should just kind of charge through and bump beats around this people.
Yeah. Sometimes you forget that part of the fun of Onslaught is that it also bumps allied heroes out of the way. Pop the Lincoln Sphere and get some good stuns going. Oh, on top of Raiden, on top of everybody. Four Fates does get the Doom off on the Necro. That's the big target for it. Cephalord trying to help get them out, but cannot escape. Raiden down as well, and well, they wait for Relapse Gamer to come back. They switch over to Nephilion. Beats bringing the pain out onto this Dragon Knight. Scythe is there, does not quite kill Beats. Does finally go down. They get the first life on Coming Winter. Pops back up. And Relapse Gamer's back off of the Aegis as well. Swap out to save Four Fates. And somehow Beats is the only one dead on the side of Savoury characters. And your respawns get used, so Marci Beaucoup, their last two heroes limp away, and you get the tier 3 tower, but it's another pretty solid hold from Savoury.
Yeah, all respect goes out to Coming Winter, because I've been sort of talking some shit about this guy, you know what I'm saying? I don't like the item build, don't really get the Deso and all that. But regardless of his kind of weird itemization, that fight was just kind of salvaged a little bit by him. Even though it seems like it's a Savoury character win, it could have been so much worse. Beats, he had a swap available and he had a disruption available. But the problem was that Vicro and Bench, they were just so preoccupied, because as soon as that fight kicks off, Coming Winter blinks up to the high ground and basically puts the two supports in a position where they can't run past him, right? And suddenly, even with your nice little psychic headband, your solar crest on Bench, you can't do anything. You can't save Beats. And it's a very it must be a frustrating situation for this fan, because he's thinking, oh, we have a numbers advantage, surely I still have the upper hand here. But Coming Winter just uses his body to put them in a rough spot, and I think that's what he needs to continue to be doing, because if these supports get their spells off, like we said as early as the draft, it's not going to be any sort of fight at all for Marci Beaucoup.
Yeah, I feel like as wonky as this Wraith King build feels, I feel like it's complementing how Coming Winter is playing this hero quite well. Where he's kind of, like, you see the Ags queued up next. He's kind of playing this offlane style Wraith King, where you're kind of supporting the team as much as you're dealing the damage. The Desolator in the mix with that, you know, makes sure that you're still competing with the Sun in terms of damage, you're still contributing a good amount of damage to these fights, still getting those fat mortal strikes.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, you're there to help the team, and you know that you've got Relapse Gamer and Nephilion to help bring out the damage with the rest of your team, as well as like pretty high damage supports between the Spirit Breaker and Lion, alongside all the control they bring.
Yeah, great pickup of the AC now completed for the Wraith King, and Nephilion, he's going to be able to pick up that Aghanim Scepter. So the Black Dragon online now. It's further going to amplify how much chip damage you can do to this tower. But on the flip side, Aisha has completed her own Aghanim Scepter. So all these uproar, just kind of fissures on the ground and the little cracks, they're going to be... You're kind of going to have to play a bit of the floor is lava here, right? On the side of Marci Beaucoup. Because if you get broken up on your cores, it's kind of a tricky affair.
Yeah, this is going to feel like you're back in Aghanim's Labyrinth playing that final boss fight against Primal Beast, where, you know, it's not the big damage, it's not you get hit by 2 of these shockwaves and you're dead, but it's kind of you get hit by one of these shockwaves and you're dead, because suddenly you lose your Vampiric Aura, you lose your Dragon Blood, and you're no longer the tanky hero that you once were.
Stopping Marci Beaucoup from positioning very confidently, though.
Yeah, they want to get this barracks. They want to finish what they started when they had the Aegis. Still got a cheese in the hands of Coming Winter. Aisha out pushing on the map, and they do see that, so they'll see it if they try to pressure. And she'll be ready to teleport in as soon as things start getting hairy. But see, do Marci Beaucoup want to try to take advantage? Do they just want to control this part of the map? It's always so scary. It's always like, do we actually have what we need? Like, now we don't even have an Aegis. Are we really going to try going high ground against Savoury characters? Can we just try to get them to step out of their base? Do we go, you know, across the map, see if we can find Aisha? But she's not really showing anymore. And you sit around thinking, what do you do? And you decide on nothing, so you hit some creeps and you wait for the next Roche.
It's getting scarier and scarier to come up to this high ground. One of the elements we haven't mentioned just yet, as much as this isn't really a traditional high ground defense draft, is the swap is a very real threat. It's just that Benji has largely saved that for defensive purposes. But if you inch a bit too close, you know, there's always that option that Benj can pull you up there. And he has some pretty good resistances to him, right? He has the Trickster's Cloak to be able to help him fly under the radar and get those moves off. I'm sure he would really love to sort of get an Aghanims for himself now. But, yeah. The voice line started to come out. You know the feeling.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, this is where the I'm so bored is really the truest like psychic damage that Savoury characters can hit you with, because you're standing there like, we have the lead, just like let us win now. Like, it's your fault that we're bored. Why are you saying you're bored? You're doing this.
Yeah, like what the hell? Are you trying to act like this ain't your doing?
Yeah.
What the hell?
And it's all bait. It's getting you to be like, okay, fine, we are going high ground. We do have the lead. Let's go. Like, we don't need to wait to find a pick off, and then that's exactly when they get you.
Okay, look, Relapse Gamer, he's a Giga Chat. I do want to say that not going for something like a Lincoln's or Lotus is kind of putting them in a rough spot. The past few fights, as much damage as he can do, as much work as he has been doing, he's getting doomed. And if you don't have any way of saving yourself from that situation, you're just toast. Nothing is going to help you out there. You don't have a save on your team other than Planner Pocket. And coming winter, maybe they're just waiting for his Aghanims and they'll just kind of keep the Necro alive through his own death. But
yeah.
I kind of feel like you get one Lotus, one Lincoln, suddenly they can't touch you and you're killing everybody, healing your whole team. It feels like Relapse is going to be this major battery for his squad, but he's being taken out of the... Like, he's just not even in the device. He's still in his packaging right now.
Yeah, Forfates has been right on top of things with that Doom, and Savoury characters, they know Roche, either they know it's back up or they know that it would soon be, but it is in fact back up, so they're going to get out on the map. They also see Marci relieving some of the pressure on the lanes as they go to set up for Roche.
They're gonna be so scared though because they don't see a single hero other than the Spirit Breaker split pushing, and that's like regular business, right? Tier 4 items grabbed by everybody. Pretty significant Trickster Cloaks on all sides, and Beats has an aesthetic cap, so we have to keep an eye out for that.
Oh, Coming Winter blinks in, starts things off. Stormhammer connects on to Relapse Gamer. They have the control. He's just dead. Buys back immediately. They do have the outpost to teleport to, and Nephilion is in on top of Vicro. Now Raiden gets brought down as well. Beats in the mix of it. It's just a big pile-up of heroes. Get the Scythe on Doom. Revenge for all of those Dooms. Beats flies in, finishes off Cephalord. But now Beats is the one they turn around on. All three of these cores, they're still just standing their ground. And only Aisha is able to escape. Marci Beaucoup, they positioned so well to start that fight. Like that, I mean, they use 3 buybacks there, so it's not as one-sided of a fight as it looks like it is. But here come the Savoury buybacks now. Marci, they like set up on this high ground. They left just Relapse in the pit, and they fully wrapped around as Savoury came in. They read them like a book. They're gonna get these mega creeps.
The Dragon Knight, dude. Like, the Dragon Knight being able to find the Shadow Demon and start the fight by taking out Vicro. This guy just picked up his axe, so he only now is getting buyback from the gold he's accumulated. But you can imagine how much worse that fight would have gone if 2 Shadow Demon ultimates and 2 Demonic Cleansers came out. Like, that would have changed everything. But instead, now you're looking, the only 2 you're looking at is Rax that you've just lost. You need to buy back in full, and you don't even get anything from it, right? You might try for Desperation Chase, but I can't help but feel like that's going to put you in an even worse position. Yeah, I think Savoury characters, they'll quickly realize that they have no business running out this far. And this is a huge L for Savoury characters there.
Yeah, they lose 2 barracks. The Roche didn't get taken, so we could see another fight up there. But the buybacks, I mean, Marci Beaucoup end up with more buybacks in their hands than Savoury characters. Vicro will have it in a few hundred gold, so it should be pretty even, and it looks like we are going to get another fight up here. Marci Beaucoup, but they're doing the same thing. They're positioning out of the Roche Pit, and Aisha steps too close and immediately is stunned up, controlled up. But do they have the damage? The Finger of Death doesn't do that much. The Scythe comes down on top of Aisha. But this Primal Beast is so tanky, he's finally getting whittled down. Huge Earth Spike comes through onto 3. There is a BKB for the spend, but they have the chance to get it through. The swap comes out. Coming Winter brought back into the middle of things, gonna heal up, respawn. Aisha goes down, buys back, but how do you get here? The skeletons, they're tearing apart everybody. Beats goes down into Philion. And just like that, there's no buybacks available on Savoury. They're trying to escape, but Vikramon's already so low, it's gonna get brought down. Benji just tries to TP away. They don't quite have the stun, so we'll be able to get out. But now Aisha's back in. They get spotted under the ward. Cephalord charges through. Sets up the Nether Strike. The rest of Marci Beaucoup looking to connect here. Earth Spike is there. Aisha getting controlled up. Doesn't have a BKB. Doesn't have a buyback. They have the slows. Tries to charge through. Tries to draw them away from the base. Tries to prevent this as much as possible. Pulverize on the creep, just to control them up. Slowed down again. She's dragging them so far away. She's delaying the push so much. With the two real pushing heroes coming Winter into Philion, they're into the base. They delete Vikramon. Relapse Gamer connects, and now it's just on to the tier 4s. Only 2 heroes to defend with. And just like that, no Roche necessary, simply wins the team fights. That's how you go high ground. You kill Savoury outside of their base. You beautifully execute these fights around the Roche, never actually commit to taking it, clean them up, take the game. Marci Beaucoup pick up game 1 in this best of 3 series.
Insane team fight there, and you know how that I was making that analogy about the Hearthstone fatigue, dude. I feel like Marci Beaucoup drafted the perfect lineup to do just that, right? Savoury characters, at some point, you gotta worry about the Roche high ground, and they add every single component, every little bit of flavoring you need into this recipe of Marci Beaucoup's draft to route that game plan, right? Savoury characters, what do they like to do? They like to defend high ground, overwhelm you in these late game team fights, but you build you get number 1, all 3 of your cores are insanely tanky. Number 2, you just have like essentially 2.5 lives on every single hero. You have 2 supports that have just insane late game impact. And the most important part is between the Wraith King and DK, not only are they tanky, they can very, very low commit on your towers, right? They can just throw the skeletons in, throw the illusions, and Savoury characters have no way of healing their towers. They've drafted themselves a lineup that they need to run in and crush Marci Beaucoup in one fell swoop. Well, after you fell swoop them one time, they get back up on their feet, you punch them in the gut, they punch you back. It's just not a game that you can win. 4 beats, every single fight, it feels like he's just having so much trouble connecting on the target. Even when he thought he's killed them off, it still doesn't seem to matter. And Marci Beaucoup, I don't know how much of this was planned, but this was brilliant.
Yeah, it really, I agree with everything you said. It was such a great draft to be able to survive exactly what Savoury characters was bringing. You had just the right amount of kite, just the right amount of control, and all the durability in the world to survive their initiations, drag them out, pull them away, turn those team fights around, and just, again, the positioning. Both of those Roche fights, they did it almost exactly the same way. They let Savoury think that they were back in the pit, but then positioned out in front of it, made sure that Savoury were not ready to take the fight, made sure that they were the ones getting the advantage. It was this team, you know, they didn't have an amazing group stage, but they show up in certain places, and one of them is around these Roches. Because even before those 2 that ended the game, there was the one at the Radiant Roche pit, where they hold the high ground. Like, they know where they have to stand to win a fight around Roche, which is something that, like, pro teams feels like they haven't fully solved yet. You see these teams taking fights deep in the Roche pit or just posturing around each other. Marci Beaucoup, they know their positioning, they know where they need to take the fight, and they executed those perfectly.
I mean, just great game overall, and Savoury characters, one of the sort of fan favorites. I'm talking about myself. I'm the fan. one of the fan favorites of this entire league, at risk of just being decimated here. Now, this is the upper bracket you mentioned, right?
Yes. Yeah, this is upper
Okay,
bracket.
so it's not like it's over if they lose here, but I think coming into this matchup, I'm sure that Savory characters, in terms of who they view as their worst enemies, it's always Looming Fruit, right? In fact, Looming Fruit looked like, along with Team Drip, one of the teams to beat in the playoffs. But, I think they're fully expecting that they can put up a good fight against Marci Beaucoup, but this Marci Beaucoup lineup definitely came to play today.
Yeah, they are showing up very well. Haven't dropped a game in the playoffs yet. 2 of their first series, take game 1 of their second. And yeah, Savory characters, they really want to punch their tickets to the upper bracket finals here. They can certainly make a deep run, especially after a strong showing last week. But for the last 2 seasons, it's been Looming Fruit that has knocked them out of the playoffs, and it would be a date with Looming Fruit for whichever team loses this series. So it'll be an interesting one to watch, and there's still plenty more Dota to come. That is just game 1. Plenty of... Savory characters, whether it's a game, whether it's a series, they're the comeback team. They're the team that holds out over everyone, so I'm sure it will be just as competitive of a game 2, and certainly a strong possibility of a game 3. Looking forward to seeing what that looks like. Go to a quick break. I'm sure the lobby's already up, possibly even waiting for us. Are you sticking around for game 2, or are you heading to bed?
Stick around. I'll stick around. It's fine.
Excellent. All right, so we will both see you back here in just a few minutes. Hello everybody, we are back for Game 2, Savoury Characters versus Marci Beaucoup. Marci Beaucoup, they strike first, take Game 1 in pretty back and forth brawl that ends with them taking some clutch team fights to close out the game. Start of the draft, Marci Beaucoup, they're going to go back to that Spirit Breaker for the Ceph Lord that they picked up in the second phase last time around. And Savoury Characters, they pick up the Lion, steal it away from Marci Beaucoup, who played it on Raiden last game. One of Benji's signature heroes, so no surprise seeing them snatch it up to start things off. Had the Dragon Knight get banned out. We have exact same 5 bans to start things off for Marci Beaucoup. And mostly the same bans, I think, for Savoury, but the Dragon Knight taken away from Nephileon from last game. I've been joined by Permasneeze. He's on his way back. Will be with us again shortly. We're getting started in the draft. I sat back down at my computer and the draft had already started, so I was like, oh. So they are ready to go. But I know this is pretty late at night for some of these players, so they are looking to keep things rolling as much as possible. Go ahead and update the title as we get Mars picked up. The Four Fates Classic for Savoury Characters sets up some pretty nice early team fighting for them. Should have a good lane if the Lion's with him. Has a pretty good lane most of the time anyway.
5 seconds remaining.
Oh yeah, there's the last game on my screen. It was showing up for Vikromond as Jortsasaur. But yeah, now I'm seeing the change.org that Permasneeze mentioned. Marci Beaucoup, they steal away the Vengeful Spirit this time. I mean, I think we're already seeing the Benji hero, so I don't think it's that much of a steal, but they're just going to swap position 4s in this game.
10 seconds remaining.
Savoury Characters will have the higher control damage support, Marci Beaucoup with the save this time around, as well as still being pretty high damage and control. Yeah, likely seeing the support duo here for Marci. They're going to go back to the Necrophos for Relapse Gamer. I mean, it was even into the Doom. Like, it was having trouble at times against the Doom, namely by getting doomed. But still, in so many of those fights, was dumping out the damage, and it was just so hard for them to deal with.
5 seconds remaining.
Curious if they're going to go back to all of these like high durability cores that we saw last game, and now with the Vengeful Spirit on top of it for the extra save. Favorite characters, what do you answer? Like, I feel like the Doom was a good answer to the Necro last game, but it kind of feels like you need something different or something more. And I don't imagine they'd go back. Well, I could see Chio playing this Mars if they did want to go to the Doom. But I wouldn't completely rule it out. I think this is going to be a bit more comfort for Four Fates with this Mars. We'll see, you know, in a best of 3, you do have that little bit of extra wiggle room. So, Savoury Characters, we saw them going to some less comfort heroes, may go back to some more comfort. It's going to be the Life Stealer for 4 beats. That will be their option. It's going to help you get through the Necrophos and any potential future tanky heroes they pick up. This guy really loves digging into a wide health bar. You've got all of those percent damage, or percent max health based damage. What does Savoury want to close this part of the draft out with? Likely their other support. What are they thinking for Vikromond here? Or for Benji? You could go for like the Hoodwink, you could go back to the Shadow Demon, so that you still have the save option. You do now have, like, Lifestealer is kind of a save hero, even out of the carry role. So it doesn't feel quite as necessary. I feel like you kind of just want more damage, based on how the last game went, at least. If they had Owl, I'd say with the I mean, if Vikromon can play a Phoenix, I think a Phoenix would feel pretty good here. You're not seeing a lot of good tools to hit the egg. They go for the Dark Willow. Interesting. I mean, that's going to give them good control. Should be annoying for the Spirit Breaker, similar to how the Shadow Demon was last game. A bit annoying for the Necrophos as well. All of that AoE control.
10 seconds remaining.
Now Marci...
remaining.
I mean, they have to be a little bit careful about going full durability against the Life Stealer. Curious what they want to go. I feel like they're looking for another, like, Deso building hero to chunk through this Mars and Life Stealer and really blow up the line in Dark Willow quickly. If they even choose to pick a carry here. They could also grab... I mean, we think the Necrophos is going to be Relapse Gamer again, so they could grab a mid. They go back to the Wraith King, sure. I don't dislike it at all. It's going to be the Desa Builder, big damage bringer, get through the Mars and Life Stealer, survive these fights, pop back up.
10 seconds remaining.
You know, it was a spicy build, but it really worked out for them in the end, and... yeah, almost... Marci Beaucoup has almost fully run back their draft from last game. They're not going to be able to go to the Dragon Knight, so we will have one more different hero. And the line was stolen from them, so they took the Vengeful Spirit from Savoury characters. But it's kind of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Savoury characters didn't ban a ton of the heroes they picked last time around. This time they go for the Zeus and Sniper bans. They're worried about a big, like, backline damage dealer that can get through the Mars and Life Stealer. So I think those make sense for bans.
5 seconds remaining.
I think we could see... Okay. Ah, you back? Welcome back.
Yes, hello.
Sweet. We are nearly at the end of our draft here. We have Marci Beaucoup bringing back many of the same heroes. They will need to pick one more new one as Dragon Knight's been banned out. Savoury characters with a fully fresh draft.
Dude, I don't know about this. I don't know whether this Savoury characters lineup is good enough to take down what Marci Beaucoup have.
I think the Life Stealer is a good improvement to be able to get through the durable heroes, even before, like, they picked that before seeing the Wraith King. The Necrophos can be a concern with the Ghost Shroud again, but...
10 seconds remaining.
And yeah, literally same 7 bans from Marci. In the same order, I believe.
Why not, right?
Yeah.
Man.
I want to say... I closed my stats so that I could show the bracket without having to worry about going to the wrong Chrome tab when I tried to show it.
So the only thing that changed is the Venge swapped out for the Lion, right? Because they snatched it away.
Yes. And the Dragon Knight's banned, so that's going to change as well. What did I want to look at? I wanted to look at when these teams played each other before. It was a Savoury Characters 2-0. Oh, right, because this was the very end of the group stage that these teams faced off. Marci getting deep into the reserve time, trying to figure out what most likely mid-hero is going to be the answer here. Dawnbreaker. So yeah, they're... You know, it's pretty different from the Dragon Knight, but in some ways it's the same of this durability hero, the group heal, but there's the Leshrac to bring the damage. That's going to be Savoury's answer for how do you chew through all of these heroes. And you have...
Okay. I love this. I think this is great. This is good enough. You got the mana battery of the lion.
Yeah.
You got the control from the Dark Willow. Four Fates is gonna try and do his best Pepperboy impression on the Mars. And dude, this Lifestealer Lash combo we've been seeing in pro play over and over because the amount of the problem with Lifestealer is that he can't do it by himself. He's not a 1v5 hero. He can be very annoying and something that Marci Beaucoup need to think about in the later stage of the fight, but you need that immediate impact, right? Now it's all about how good of an early start Aisha can get. Because from what my understanding
10
is,
seconds
this should be a decent matchup into the Dawn. There isn't really anything she can do to stop you.
5
And
seconds
Cephalot now
remaining.
has to make some of these crazy rotations to the mid to try and influence that matchup. Because if Aisha gets off to a good start, gets a good Bloodstone timing, there isn't really anyone on... I mean, later down the line, Relapse Gamer can get the talent that allows Heartstopper Aura to reduce healing. But prior to that, Aisha is just going to be batteried up. And she's going to feel very happy about this game, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about it in the last game of Lion being kind of the best mana battery now, and we're going to see that in action as we have the most mana battery dependent hero paired up with him.
Yeah. Only comparable to a Storm, I dare say.
Yeah. And yeah, I love the idea of like the Mars arena with the eventual like Leshrac shard for the big split earths. Like there's so much control on this Savoury lineup. You also
also
have
really tricky.
It's like it's time for me to all out.
the terrorize into the walls of the arena from the Dark Willow.
Yeah.
There's some
Classic
really
combo.
nice team fight combos here.
Yeah. It's Marci Beaucoup though, they still have a very similar lineup. So as long as Coming Winter can get off to an okay start, I think this time round it's not gonna be so easy for the Dawnbreaker. At least that's what I'm seeing. Maybe we see Relapse Gamer bring this Necrophos mid instead. I'm not too sure, but we'll have to sort of stick around. I do think that Necrophos is one of those heroes that wants to stick around in the lane for as long as possible, but I believe there's going to reach a point where Beats will just push him out. So it's again, it sucks to say this, but I feel like it's all down to the supports. I feel like Benji and Vicro need to make magic happen to make sure that their lanes go fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the
What the hell is Vicro
lanes
talking about?
are... I think the side lanes are a bit easier for Marci. It's like the Wraith King, the Necrophos, they're going to be pretty content just chilling in their lanes, getting the farm they need. Because yeah, this time Beats does not go to that staircase alone, stays with the rest of the team.
Good move.
And it looks like it'll just be the full map swap. No real rune shenanigans.
Begins.
Yeah.
Didn't get a chance to talk about hats. Like, immediately what I'm seeing as heroes head to lane is a nice pairing between this Beats Lifestealer set and Aisha's Leshrac. I feel like those go nicely together. Benchy has a nice Lion set, pretty standard stuff, but looking
Nika
good.
Dawnbreaker ruins it though for Marci Beaucoup. I feel like that
Yeah.
along with the fact that this, I feel like Cephalot has a decent breaker set, but it's nothing crazy, and the Venge leaves a little bit to be desired. Like, look at that headgear, it's a little bit rough.
Yeah. Yeah, there's... I feel like
Savoury-
both
think
of those
Savoury
heroes kind of suffer from not having a lot of good sets. They have a lot of
that's
sets, and none of them are amazing.
Look, I mean, Forfeits, I get this mask, but I feel like in execution, the helmet and the armor looks a bit clunky. But that's why it feels a bit weird to say Savoury characters win in the hat department, but I mean,
Yeah.
that's the truth, so unfortunate.
I don't think so.
So let's see, where... Where are we expecting to see a lot of actions? A lot of action in these lanes.
Before we talk about the action, I just want to say that Chio literally has 6 denies in lane. What the frick? I don't think that's supposed to happen. I mean, Dawnbreaker is really good starting auto attack damage, but Lash is just edging that out by like maybe 1 or 2 thanks to those additional branches. So
yeah, Chio
just
has
off of that margin
killed
alone.
more than 4 times as many creeps as her
As the
lane
Dawn?
opponent. Yeah, in terms of
Yeah.
last hits plus denies. And now is going to get the split earth down. Has the slow from the Celestial Hammer, so able to back away.
Dude, this lane never gets easier for the Dawnbreaker because even when you get higher levels in your Celestial, if you try and contest a Lash in a creep wave, it's so easy to split off you, and the Lightning Storm is always going to rip you apart. And if you try and catch the Lash off guard by himself, Aisha's going to be able to just pop that, just Edict and burn her to death. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
On bot, we're going to get a charge to stop the mana drain. As everybody's sitting at like half health down here, except for Seth Lord, who is big vibin'.
Not anymore.
No,
Beat up.
gets stunned up, eats the mana drain, and now in the half health club as well, thanks to some attacks from Beats.
I noticed you calling an area of the map the bi angle just now. Would you care to explain what you mean?
Yeah, so you know how there's the triangle, and the triangle was called the triangle because there were three
camps.
creep camps that you would move
Okay,
between to farm.
I get you.
The thing is,
I
now
get
there's only 2 creep camps,
Okay.
which means it's no longer
It's
the
a-
triangle, it's the biangle.
Yeah, you're a bit of a coiner, aren't you? You love coming up with these things.
Yes. This isn't, like, it's certainly not a term I came up with.
Oh no?
No. I'm a big fan of it, and I'm trying to push it more into the, what's the word for, like, I don't know, into the community, I guess.
The general dictionary
yeah.
of the community.
Yeah, the
right?
lexicon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want more people to use it, but yeah, I don't know where it originated, but I've heard like Moxie say it in a cast.
Okay.
So it's out there. It's still catching on. As we miss first blood because we're talking about silly words.
The bi angle.
Yeah.
It's what we said. 2 levels into Edict, just run you down. You can never full commit into this Lash.
Yeah.
In fact, that's going to be the story of this game. You need to somehow connect Venge Stun, Dawnbreaker abilities, Spirit Breaker Charge Nether Strike, and then Scythe for a chance. And even then, there is the chance of Beats coming in with a hero Matumba Man-esque infest play to ruin everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like the worst part is you like look at this Lash and you're like, okay, well we need like the magic resistance to deal with, you know, how much damage is coming out from this Lash throughout the game. But it's so much physical damage from the other 2 I mean, like Mars is a mix. Lifestealer is like pure physical plus the health drain. Like it's not helping you against much else. I mean, it's helping you with the supports, so maybe it still feels worth it. But if you go too heavy into like Pipe, Mage Slayer, all of these items, then suddenly you're just getting eaten to death by a Lifestealer.
Yeah, and this is a perfect Lifestealer game, right? All things considered, in terms of these heroes, you get something like... You get your full sort of meta build-up. Oh, charge out. Bench. Oh, the stun.
Oh, yeah.
He's not patient enough of it, and he dies as a result. I think if he waits a little bit, he can actually line up 2. And he doesn't even need to line up 2, actually. If he just stuns Seth Lord, I think he's fine. So
Yeah.
maybe a bit too quick on the fingers there. But yeah, I mean, back to the point I'm making about the Lifestealer. I think you go for your standard build-up, like the Armlet, Radiance, S and Y, X. Literally no one can kill you this game.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to be so durable, you're going to turn off the damage from the Wraith King by hopping inside him. It is a good game to be a Lifestealer.
comes Chio from out of downtown. Cephalord's just gonna get run down. Beats taking a lot of damage. So Beats
Oh
taking.
yeah, it Beats. You didn't need to be there.
What was that?
And now Coming Winter
now-
TP's in, not afraid to make a rotation, gets the Hex up for the distance, but the tower shot finishes off Aisha. All they get is they just lost 2 cores for a support diving a tower.
Whitehawk, is your stream a family-friendly stream?
I said a few swears in the last stream.
What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? What the hell are they doing? I mean, I understand that gank, but like, Cephalord, just a bit too tanky, way more than they expect. This dude sitting at 1k HP, one of the highest strength gains in the game, and you're like, running it down, tanking tower. You don't even have an excuse, you had creeps there, man.
Yeah, that was interesting. Now they are going to find Coming Winter trying to go through the Twin Gate, getting back to the lane, but now here's a Wraithfire Blast, do a stun. Aisha's back in this lane. This is the party lane now. But both carries are in it, so nobody's winning. Everybody's having fun, except for Cephalord, who's dead. They stun up Relapse Gamer. Aisha's going to look to run them down. Savoury characters, they want vengeance, they want to make up for this misplay of diving under the tower, but they're not going to be able to finish off Relapse Gamer because Coming Winter's in on the side with a Wraithfire Blast. They get the
Level
stun
1.
up, though. Oh, and they're going to bring down Coming Winter.
Dude, Benji taking both of those kills is hilarious, though, and I think almost the fact that he's the one who gets those last hits doesn't even really make it worth it. They waste a lot of time, and they don't kill the big target. I arguably think that with the way that Coming Winter plays, he's not even too concerned about himself dying there, and I mean, maybe they're just thinking, okay, Raiden in this top side, you can get some EXP, Four Fates is gonna have a good time regardless, so what can we do? But yeah, I think Relapse Gamer surviving there is the big sort of mishap, because you talk about how this Dawnbreaker was suffering, she's had so much free time to recover in the lane now.
Oh yeah, Aisha making really 2 separate rotations down to the bot lane. It's been so much free space for this Dawnbreaker. She's been eating it up. Right back in it, right in the mix with all the other cores. I mean, Aisha and Four Fates still kind of up in a league of their own in terms of last hits with the Necrophos. And that is kind of the 2 groups of the cores. You've got those 3 at the top in net worth as well, and then the next 3 less than 1,000 gold behind most of them.
Benj, you can't be up here doing all that. This is not a lane that you can stand your ground and mana drain against, and Relapse Gamer has that boost of travels already, so he'll be able to get it moving all around the map along with his Spirit Breaker, which I think is a great adaptation. Maybe that's kind of why most of them got boots of travels last game, because Cephalord, he can activate an area anywhere on the map to become a fighting zone, and you want to be able to link up with him, because otherwise these heroes are relatively static, right? They don't really get around the map much.
Yeah, I mean, you have the Dawnbreaker this time, which is also going to feel really nice with your Spirit Breaker. And yeah, they like now with these early boots of travel from Relapse, it's...
Charge in the mid lane.
Oh, yep. Looking to connect with Aisha. They get in a short distance. Solar Guardian able to dodge it, but Raiden's there, gets the stun up. Cephalord picks up the kills. Support's eating well in this game.
Dude, the whole difference in this game is literally that Aisha died twice, or at least had to go back bot twice. They are trying to set up a Coming Winter on the top side, though.
Yeah, they got the first kill and they
have
set up
damage.
the arena when he respawns, but do they have enough? It's not looking like it. They have the stun, they have the mana drain. Stun up from Raiden onto Benj. Now they're looking to turn it around. Charge coming through on Four Fates. Gonna finish it. They get the swap, finish off Benji, and now Cephalord has the Nether Strike again. Brings back Four Fates stun out. Four Fates goes down. Great rotations from these supports.
Dude, savoury characters are kind of fumbling the bag in these early game skirmishes. I'm not really sure what the communication is, but they're prioritizing wrong. They're not really sort of connecting on the spells they need to. They're not really respecting the amount of damage that, or at least the amount of durability that they're going up against.
And
Again.
he's just dead. Like now Cephalord's having a good game, Relapse Gamer's having a good game, and with the Boots of Travel, like that's all you need. These heroes are everywhere killing all of you. Swap on Vikromon, who's just like hanging out here thinking, hey guys, are we going to defend this? And suddenly you're in the middle of 4 heroes. Four Fates trying to help out. It's like the Shadow Realm will be enough, but stops for the Watcher, and Raiden's there, doesn't have the mana for the stun. Now it comes up, finishes off the Dark Willow.
You need to defend this tower. This is huge. You can't allow this lineup to get a tower this early on. None of them can push. This should be illegal. But without the Arena and without your Lash in the area, he'll finally join up now.
Arena comes back up. Aisha's going to connect. They get them all under the tower. Relapse Gamer kept on the outside. Finger of Death to finish off Cephalord. Solar Guardian right on top of all three of them. But now here comes the massive damage. It beats connects as well. And that is a big pair of kills for Savoury characters to stop this early roll from Marci.
Very important that the Lifestealer showed up there, because even though it didn't have any sort of real-world impact, they would have gotten those kills regardless. I think he recognizes immediately that there's nothing for him to do in the bot side anyway, that he has no business pushing that tower. So the most impact he can have on the map in that moment is actually getting that kill. Now Aisha getting swapped back
Swap
in
out on
mid lane.
Aisha, charge in both of these supports, but nice interrupt by Benji. They get the Nether Strike back, want to bring down Aisha, another stun is there, but they just don't quite have the damage. It's a little scary how close they are with just these two supports, but
Yeah.
with the help of the... I mean, it's like two supports making so much space, because you have Relapse Gamer and Coming Winter both just hitting creeps for free while they're taking fights in the mid lane.
And again...
And oh my god, charge forward, they find
yeah.
Aisha, this deep vision. The stun is there, killing spree for Raiden. These supports are doing so much for Marci.
Yeah,
Micromon
Benji's
in
there
trouble
too.
some spot. Benji's there as well, though. Relapse Gamer is still going to work on the tower, but it's just the supports. This is like the epitome of space creation, and you're getting the kills on top of it. Charge through from Cephalord. Relapse Gamer is going to say, hey, thank you for the free regen. Thanks for setting that one up, guys. Let's finish taking this tower and go keep winning this game.
This is crazy. This is an insane game being played by Marci Beaucoup. And I said it in the draft, I'm gonna say it again here. I think this draft was answered by that Lash last pick. And the Lash last pick did great, right? Aisha was in that mid lane, she was completely screwing over the Dawn. But now you've reached a point in the game where everything's a mess. Everywhere you show up, you're just being charged under your own tower, and you don't have anything to respond. Bench as well, just being set up on.
Yeah, they get the spear back to try to save Benj, but Raiden's connecting as well. There's no chance for this line to survive. Unstoppable for Relapse Gamer. 6-0-2. Well at the top of this net worth, and they know that Wisdom Rune's up. Beats is going to be able to pick it up. You can see Marci Beaucoup like had that thought of, oh, somebody's going to be over there. Let's go find ourselves another kill. We have literally nothing to fear here. We're going to start farming creeps right outside their tier 2 tower. We're going to check if there's somebody hitting these Ancients or if the Wisdom Rune's still there. Yeah, they are just rolling. Now, we are going to get a smoke from Savoury characters. If they can find a Phyllion here, it's going to be hard for anybody to connect. The charge would be coming from pretty far away. There's the Boots of Travel. And there's nothing. They have the Terrorize to get them the space. Oh, the Arena is so heads up, but it's not going to be enough. Cephalord's there, finishes it off with one more attack. And that Solar Guardian again, they're going to look to set up on Vikromon, able to step off to the side, but where are you going? How do you think you get away from these heroes? You think you can TP? Well, you can. So good thought.
Well thought out, my Vikromon. Great line of thinking. To be fair, Relapse Gamer did have that scythe up in just 1 second, so probably just a bit annoyed there. But Savoury characters, again, I feel like there's no respect. There's no respect from their lineup against what they're facing off. You can see the adaptation they've made in terms of Lifestealer and Lash. It was a good idea, but how could they not have anticipated that the very same chaos would ensue? That Cephalord would just run rampant all around the map, causing chaos and just ruining the laning stage. Like, these heroes, they need someone to make space. It's supposed to be this Mars who had a decent time, but not good enough, clearly, when you're up against like 1.5k HP at this stage in the game.
Yeah.
I'm not sure in what world they were going to get that kill on the Dawnbreaker without some sort of help coming in, either from a Boots of Travel's Necro, a charge, or even a TP to the tier 1 that they haven't even gotten yet.
Yeah. Man, this, I hate to just keep harping on it, but it feels like this all goes back to that dive under that very tier 1 tower. where
Yeah.
it doesn't quite
Agreed.
go as you expect, and then suddenly, like, so much of their laning pressure, so much of the like great lanes that they'd set up to that point just falls apart, and then immediately Marci are there to be able to capitalize on, you know, like that little bit of a lead, they turn it into so much of a lead. And now they're gonna find beats.
About that is
In this
it
tower,
was, like,
rage,
honestly-
TP away by the swap!
Oh, swap.
Oh, now the charge is coming
Okay.
through the scythe!
No! He had infest! What the heck?
Oh,
Bruh. Okay, I mean, savory characters is all kind of getting fumbled now. I completely agree with you on that sort of just kind of, it all started going wrong with that dive, and you gotta imagine, you gotta think, like, what was going through their minds there? Were they really feeling that strong? Because to me, at least from our perspective, it was a bit of a zero-sum game, right? Even if they did kill off the Spirit Breaker, so what? He's level 3. It's not really that useful of a target. If Aisha instead chose to stay mid, she would have been able to continue ramping up a farm, continue bullying the Dawnbreaker. But now, look at exactly where Marci Beaucoup are. It's the same exact situation as game number 1.
yeah. The swap back on Vikermon, I mean, they are just really running away with this one. And I feel like the back in the group stage, we saw the series of games where you were casting the Savory games with Crasheroni. Like, dude, I swear, Savory characters, every game they play goes 50, 60 minutes, and they were just getting rolled over in those games, and feels like Marci Beaucoup, they're replicating what those teams were able to do, where if you get enough of an early momentum, there's no chance to take this high ground game, there's no chance to find that farm out on the map, and if they can
also
keep this momentum going and close it out, it's going to be big trouble for Savory.
Yeah, and I also think a part of it is Savory, they're kind of dropping the ball, like, big time, in my opinion. Like, I feel like they have the tools available, and this draft is concocted a lot better. I like what they have on the table, but they kind of just set the table, they put the knives facing them, and they stab their own hands. Like, I'm not really sure. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
have everything they need to eat, but like forfeits on the Mars. Like, if anyone should be moving on the map, it should be forfeits, Vico, Benji, running around making things happen. Instead, you put the pressure on Aisha, who very much can benefit from getting a very greedy game for herself. Instead, now she's forced to go into a BKB first major item after the Kaya. That
Yeah.
is not where you want to be as the Lash.
No, not at all. It's... Yeah, I feel like this is where they run into trouble, is you start losing some of that pressure, you start feeling too much of the pressure coming back the other way. I mean, Beats is doing a good job escaping out on the map. We haven't seen him answered in a bit. So that, you know, you do have that option. Now they're just swapping you out within your tower, and they're all on top of you.
I just want to ask what exactly a BKB even does in that situation.
That's
right? Like, even
kinda
if
what I was
Aisha
thinking.
builds it up, she's facing up against three BKB disabling stuns. Sure, you can just kind of shrug off the Necro and his Reaper Scythe, but you won't even have the chance to press it. And now they're on your high ground. Now they've Shiva start. There's the arena up though.
Yeah, it's a big arena. They have damage to put into it. They do bring down Raiden. Cephlord gets a little low. Marci, they're going to back away. Savory, if you had Aisha up, I think you definitely smoke out and chase them there, but without your Leshrac, without all that extra damage, it's far too scary at this stage. They are... Okay, Aisha's back up. There's the smoke. They've got 14 seconds without the Venge. They do have the outpost. They have vision here. They're going to Or no, they're just setting up around... Okay, this is dangerous for Marci. Savory characters connect in on this correctly. They're going to set up the
this is a huge
Brambles,
chance.
controlling them up. Raiden goes down. Gets the Tormentor. They find Cephlord. They find Nephilion as well to get Coming Winter once. Chasing out...
What the?
Looking for that was an interesting Earth Spike. Expecting Coming Winter to go off.
What the?
Fates misses the blink onto the bridge. Coming
What
Winter
am I
is
watching?
simply walking away. Okay, there's the Earth Spike. There's the Hex. That's going to be Coming Winter going down. And this game has not gotten too out of control for Savory characters. I think even with as good as it was getting those first 2 kills, if Coming Winter gets away there, it like the mental
like
damage.
whatever, right?
It's like
whatever.
like I've been there, and if your savoury character's there, you're like, okay, we got 2, but like you just go right back to like we can't do anything. Like we can't finish off that kill. They always get away. We never kill anybody. Like it's just devastating. So getting that kill, finishing off the carry, bringing down Wraith King twice. It's big. It's big for the mental game. You're right back in it. We still got this. We're not out of this yet. We're going to smoke up again. We're getting some item timings because we just want to fight. Let's go find some more. Let's now try to turn the tempo back up in our favor.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're right on the money there. I think it's all about just the... If you fumble that move, even though it was great, it just sits with you a little bit that, okay, we couldn't even really do that completely right. All things considered, the Tormentor shot going to Raiden is kind of huge. That magic missile bounce is insane. But mid lane, looks like they... Oh, okay,
Yeah, they spot Coming Winter, but don't quite have the positioning to be able to get onto him. And now, uh-oh, here comes the charge. Here's the smoke. They threw off the Tormentor. They're going to connect with Aisha. Spear goes wide, but there's the arena. Solar Guardian in on the edge of it, ends up landing into it. Raiden swaps out to be able to escape, but Beats still finishes it off. Four Fates does go down to the Scythe. Beats is going to be able to jump into Benji for now. Nice Earth Spike onto 2. Aisha looking to TP away. Oh, but just gets crit. Coming Winter finishes it off. Benji trying to escape with that very important Life Stealer flavored football in tow. And get safely back into their base, but now you're looking at 4 heroes knocking on the door. You've got your buybacks available, but do you really want to use them here? They're just going to walk away. They'll use Vicro's buyback. Four Fates is going to be coming back up. Can you hold? You're not going to have Arena for another minute. You've got the Brambles to try to delay things. And it looks like as they step up to defend Marci Beaucoup, they respect it, they back away.
You always got to respect the savoury high ground, but again, a few key components just going wrong in that fight. I feel like, again, comparatively to last game, they don't actually have anything other than Aisha that can deal with Relapse Gamer, and we're seeing what a big problem that he can be right now. He has so much resistances, so much regen. He's building up towards that Eternal Shroud now, already with the Shivas completed, and dude, the amount of regen he's getting and the amount of mileage he's getting out of these heals is insane, right? Because every single one of these heroes on Marci Beaucoup just have insane EHP. And now you have the Mage Slayer on Neverlearn, even though he didn't really have the best time. He now has the second item flying up to him, which is the shot. Oh, I mean, it's just starting to stack up in a really bad way now for Savoury.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're Aisha here, you're like, how the hell do I do any damage in this game? Necro's got Eternal Shroud soon. Nephileon's finished that Mage Slayer. Like, they are just going those anti-magic damage items, and they're not getting punished for it yet. And the Shivas before the Bloodstone is even finished for Aisha is like, okay, am I even going to be able to get that much out of this item? It is scary stuff. Vicromon gets absolutely deleted.
Yikes.
I didn't even... Yeah, it was almost their full health bar in a single second.
Cool. Great. Love that.
Oh, charge through. Oh, this is awkward for Cephalord. But Nephileon's going to connect as well. They have the arena holding them in, but Relapse Gamer's right in. Aisha's already dead. Beats trying to escape now. Four Fates just trying to limp away, but not able to. Another big Earth Spike from Benji to give Beats the space. But the double stun comes out from Raiden. Now they're just right up into your high ground. 3 of your heroes dead. One of them already used buyback in the last fight.
Nasty work from Marci Beaucoup. This was just an insanely... Again, the concoction, it doesn't even get shaken up, right? Savoury characters, it feels like they have a better idea about what heroes they want to bring, but in terms of execution, it's just way off. I think what we've seen this season from Aisha in particular is that I think back when, you know, she was dominating the mid lane and she didn't really eat so many bans just yet, she was always the person who would get them carried later on in the game, right? She was always going to be essentially that late game threat. But this time around, especially this season, she's kind of transitioned into more team-focused, space-making, early ganking heroes. And while that's helped them out here and there, you can tell that their mentality shift has kind of frayed what she's used to doing. In this game, that old Chio Lestrange, that old Aisha would have been perfect. Play a greedier game, play for yourself, focus on your farm, get up to the items that you need. But instead, we have her running around trying to make up for some of the slip-ups on the lanes from savoury characters, and it just doesn't work out because Marci Beaucoup, they're rock solid.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's so often the problem is when you put savoury characters in this position where they can't just fall back on Aisha to be this second carry for them, to really take them through into this late game. When you start getting into this position where she's forced to try to make that early space, it feels like the game plan starts falling apart at that point. I mean, we saw, like, it was either I think it was their first playoff round last time around against Mud Boys, where they busted out this last pick mid PA for Aisha, and it was like no, well, PA was kind of coming back into the meta with the whole like Revenant's Brooch build and stuff like that, but
they did clarify that was like just they wanted to play it and they didn't really care.
Exactly, and that was what it came down to. It was like, Aisha, you deserve to play what you want to play. You pick what you want to pick. You play what you think you're going to have fun with. And, like, that's all you need. And that was all she needed. That was all Savoury needed to win that game. And it feels like that hasn't been what they've gone back to here. Maybe I'm wrong. Very well, she could have been like, yeah, I think this is a great game for Leshrac. I'm going to own them with Leshrac. I'm taking that. That's what's going to make it happen.
No, I don't. I think that's very much the case, and this Lesh is good, and I don't think it's necessarily Aisha playing bad. I think it's just with a hero like Lesh, you have one of two options. Either you're going for the early Yules build and you're setting up for your team, or you go for Bloodstone and you play for your own game. This in between is caused by the fraying of their weak early game and just the skirmishes that went wrong. Just, I think, trying to make a move, which worked out for her in the Primal Beast game, and maybe she's trying to replicate that and get them some sort of leverage, but clearly it's not really worked out. Vicro's just dead.
Deleted again. Charge! Cephalor just through the base. The mid barracks already down. I mean, we are in Savoury High Ground, but it's 29-minute Savoury High Ground. It's a little bit different. They do have the arena, they're looking for the angle, but Marci, they're so on top of when to go in and when to back away.
It always feels like when you're playing up against Savoury characters, this high ground feels like this just wall that you can't see the top of. But Marci Beaucoup, they're right on the summit. They're right one game away. Arena, though.
They've stepped up to the summit and they've been met with one death on Coming Winter, but they have quite a few lives to work with. Oh my goodness, to terrorize control, they find Coming Winter again. Swab's there. Aisha, though, getting brought low, and the stun comes through, finishes her off. Does have the buyback available. They've bought back online. Raiden getting brought low, beats in the middle of everything, but gets the infest into the creep, trying to escape, sneaking away, and now going to explode out onto Raiden. Does have the Aghanim Scepter finished. That's going to finish off Vicromon again, and now the swap onto Benji, bring him out of position. That's a dieback on the line as well. Beats in the middle of things. Nephilion going to get stunned up, pinned to the barracks. Now the double stun from this pesky Venge illusion. You're like, I thought we already killed this hero. But the Aghanims is there. They are going to be able to bring down the illusion again. And now it's Relapse Gamer with 2 lives against the 2 remaining heroes of Savoury characters and 4 fates.
Please get out of there!
So low, trying to escape from the tick damage, but it's not going to be able to get out. Beats, though. Pick this hero for the durability, but here comes the Boots of Travel Wraith King again. Beats able to escape away, but now you're just right back in on the barracks, finish off the tower. Aisha's Courier, coming in though with the Ogre Seal Totem in the setup. Gets the stun, Relapse Gamer escapes into the Ghost Shroud, but it doesn't save you from the Leshrac. They choose to back away for now. Raiden's engaged as well off of the respawn. They're all back up on Marci because it's only 30 minutes in.
Dude, the only reason why they can't chase Relapse Gamer is because he chose to take this talent 20% Ghost Shroud movement slow. Dude, did you see the Ledge could not even catch up with him? And then such a soft counter that ends up being huge for the side of Marci Beaucoup there. Ledge, their whole game plan is to get in there and do as much damage as possible. But if you're always able to keep Aisha at an arm's length, she can't get... Ew, Vicro! Oh, I guess he gets a shot for his trouble, but...
Yeah. And does have buyback backup. Or maybe hadn't even had to use it yet, but... Oh no, the swap on Aisha! Just into the Reaper's sights! I mean, they've got the buyback available. Vicro's gonna use theirs. Relapse Gamer just in the middle. Nephilion chasing back Cephlord all the way in back. They do have the control coming out.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Spear back, but what can you do? You're down your Lion now. Trying to protect these barracks, but they're just going to fall. Everybody's got to back up. They've got to go clear the creeps off of the mid towers. It's Marci Beaucoup. This train having no brakes. Looking to get themselves into that upper bracket final. Aegis does burn out on Relapse Gamer, and again, all the patience in the world from Marci as they back away as soon as that Aegis expires. So it's down to 1 barracks.
Well, the good news is this is nothing new for the savoury characters, I guess. The bad news is that I think dealing with a lineup such as the one Marci Beaucoup has drafted is seeming to be a very tall task. They don't really have the sauce in the tank. It's just a bit
Okay, they do have the control from the Earth Splitter shards in the arena. Stun up, trying to bring Coming Winter down. Again, they bring the Wraith King down. They bring Raiden down once. Can they kill the Vengeful Spirit again? Everybody, it feels like, has multiple lives. They do kill off the illusion. Now they're going to chase for more. Infest into Aisha, saying, Forfates, get the hell out of my way. We're trying to chase these guys down, and I have 1,000,000 move speed, and you have 2. Now finally going to be able to catch up to Relapse Gamer, but the Death Seeker able to chase away, get to Cephlord, still looking forward, explodes out, but now just right... Oh, the Spear, though, with the Shard! Brings them both right back into the Earth Split. Benji does go down, but they get Nephilion on the huge roots from the Brambles. Vicromon playing on the edge of the fight. No health, none required to get the control. Now they turn on to Relapse Gamer. Massive kill. If they can find him, Raiden's there! The buyback, the TP to the outpost. They get Relapse Gamer out, and they're back up with another life, and that's enough for Raiden to bring down Aisha. Absolutely insane gameplay from this Vengeful Spirit. They're trying to set up onto Cephlord, but now Relapse Gamer's back in, practically at full health again. Forfates is getting brought solo, and Cephlord is back in to finish it off. Beats now all on their own, and Death Seeker there to chase it out. Has the Rage trying to run away, but look at the move speed. He picked up a Haste Rune. There was just a Haste Rune in the river. Charge forward onto Beats. Coming Winter's back up, reconnects, and brings them down. 2 buybacks, 2 heroes. All that's left. Benji does respawn as well, but now is immediately swapped and controlled up. Beats just trying to go to work. Arena onto the team. Is it going to be enough control for Beats to get the damage in? But the Shadow Blade is just kiting them out with the tower dead. Forfates limping away. Beats trying to just clear these heroes out. Now the Wraithfire Blast in the charge. Beats. Coming Winter in on top of them. Gets into the skeleton. Oh my god, finds any infest target in a storm. They get the Terrorize onto Relapse Gamer. Their heroes are respawning. They have a chance.
No!
But here comes the Solar Guardian. Aisha gonna TP into the middle of this fight, but Vicromon already gonna get brought down. And now the control immediately onto Aisha. Is there even a chance to get the BKB off? There is, but it's not nearly enough. The barracks getting chunked down. The stun out on Necrophos. But none of it's enough. The Mega Creeps are found. Scythe out on Beats. Finishes off the Life Stealer, and that is game. GG is called. Marci Beaucoup. 2-0 savoury characters.
nasty work there. Holy
Wow.
shit, these guys. You're gonna have to prepare real hard, because, I mean, I don't know how else to put this, but this draft in particular, you need something specific against it. If Marci are gonna keep running this, someone needs to come up with some sort of solution.
Yeah. This is, I mean, let's take a look at the bracket real quick. And I'll tell you exactly who has
exactly
to
needs
figure
to
out the
come up?
solution. Oh, that's me.
Oh!
Or no, that's
Well-
not me. That's Team Drip. And if anybody's gonna figure out the solution, it's Team Drip. No, I have to figure out a solution for the Savory characters High Ground, which is also
good luck with that, bro.
not a
Good
problem
luck
I'm
with
looking
that,
forward to
yes.
having to solve.
Nice.
So yeah, Marci Beaucoup, they punched their ticket to the upper bracket finals against top seed Team Drip. Savory characters, they dropped down to the lower bracket to face Looming Fruit. But let's talk a little more about this game, because I realized I thought I was making a funny joke, but then I was wrong. Yeah, I mean, this draft from Marci is so sick, and it looked good in game 1. It looked unbeatable in game 2.
To be fair, and we might be giving this a little bit more credit than it's due, I think that this was a good draft from Savory characters. I can see like 20 worlds where Savory characters win this game, but
Yeah.
there is no world that they win it when that first dive happens. It feels again like we talked about it at length already, because I think we both agree that that's where the game just kind of fell out of their hands. And it's weird because you look at the devs on Relapse Gamer, it feels like you need to address him in the early game. But again, the Life Stealer, as great of a pick as it is, it's not really paired up with a hero that can get you the Necro kill through the Spirit Breaker. That's the problem, right? It's more than just this Necro. It's paired up with a perfect laning partner in the Spirit Breaker, and you don't have anything that can respond to that. You pick the Life Stealer, you need someone that can get as aggressive and actually trade out evenly. I'm thinking, I don't even know. I need to go look at the fucking Dota 2 heroes. Something like even a fucking Ogre Magi. You know what I mean? Ogre Magi, you got your Phoenixes, hell, even Witch Doctor. Somebody that can do some sort of damage and control. But
Yeah.
Dark Willow, great hero, but just not for this particular application. All she could do was stand in the lane, look at Cephalot, whack away at the 4 beats, just kind of carry. And Relapse Gamer has a free lane, it's vibes, right? Aisha tries to come in, tries to put a stop to that, only barely kills off the Spirit Breaker, and it's just Spirit Breaker has done its job.
Yeah. Yeah, that
I
was...
think apart from that, so there's that early start, and then the fact that I feel like Savory characters bleed so many kills because they're not diligent with the vision. Everywhere the Spirit Breaker goes and Raiden goes, they drop these insane deep wards that keep catching Savory characters by surprise. You gotta think that as soon as you get charged in a location, you have to just kind of smoke out the entire area for vision. And just put some sentries down in the area to make sure it doesn't happen again. But I think they do it a little bit too late, and that ends up biting them so hard, man.
Yeah, I think that's always the struggle in those games where it feels like the enemy team has way too much tempo, is the vision control. It's as soon as you get to this point where you're bleeding a few kills, now you're sitting there as the support, and you're like, if I go out anywhere onto this map, I die. So I'm just not going to, because I don't want to die anymore. Or you go out on the map, you deward a ward, and you die because you get charged by the Spirit Breaker. And if they're feeling spicy and really want to kill you, you get Solar Guardianed. And then they deward your deward and put the Observer back. Or they put a deeper ward now, because now you're dead and they're already deep. So they can get even further in. Like, it's so hard to be able to find your way back into those games in terms of vision. And yeah, it's like, I can't say, oh, this is how you do it, because I've been right there with them. I mean, I think smokes are kind of the answer. You have to just kind of eat a smoke, get out there, sneak out, get the ward down. Maybe don't even de-ward the enemy ward, just, at least match what they have so that you're not getting spotted. just try to get any amount of space for yourself. Yeah, I don't know. I think the other component of it is I feel like going back to that dive. The other way to look at this game isn't just, they made a play they didn't need to make and it threw the game. It's the flip side of that is that play goes how they expected. They kill the Spirit Breaker and the Necrophos, which maybe doesn't seem like it's very feasible, but imagine it does. That completely flips the script of this game. Now, it all goes back to that point, and now Savoury characters get this massive spike. They're the ones with the... I feel like both teams have the potential for this up-tempo draft and up-tempo play, and it just goes back to that one moment of who's going to have that initial impetus that gets the ball rolling down the hill to be able to, take over the rest of the game.
I guess that's where I thought it was a bit different, because I think that even in a world where they get that necro kill, it doesn't really feel as crazy because Necro's already having a great game. Necro will continue to have a great game. You just need to keep... Even if you kill him that one time, you still need to bring the Lash or somebody else. I really feel like I would have liked to see a bit more activeness from Four Fates on that mask. It seemed very quiet from him. Didn't really have a lot of meaningful early arenas as well. More often than not, you see these masks take control in the lane, start taking control in the game. But up against Coming Winter, it was just too hard of a lane opponent, and he didn't really do anything. You know what I mean? Throughout the first early part of the game until these team fights started breaking out, but at that point, it felt like Savoury characters were already a bit far behind, and I think just altogether a bit of a misunderstanding of their draft, because more often than not, whenever we see this Lifestealer and Lash succeed, it's off of the back of an offlaner who's making moves. And even if your offlaner's playing a bit greedy, then the Lash itemizes to make moves, go for early use for the setup like I mentioned. But yeah, just probably not discussing that fully amongst the team, and as a result, just kind of taking this L, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's all I can really think to say about these games. I mean, again, big hats off to Marci Beaucoup. They punched their ticket to the upper bracket finals. Savoury characters still plenty of opportunity in the lower bracket, but it is a date with the team that has been their demise the last 2 seasons. It is them against Looming Fruit in the lower bracket coming up next. So that's going to be an
Crazy
interesting
of you to
one.
say that about yourself.
I mean, I'm just trying to build the drama.
I'm messing with you. You're completely right, though. You guys have fucked them up real good. Can you give them a chance, please? Jeez. Try to watch my boys play. But yeah, I mean, jokes aside, I think Looming Fruit, your team, have really shown to become... I think... Drip, they're dominant, there's that, but I think in terms of robust team and just great team play where there isn't really one shining star, it's you guys, right? There's no one who you can ban out, there's no one who you can target to win the game. It's always such a concerted effort, and I think that's kind of where Savoury characters, it's a lot more feasible for them to take on teams that have just this 1 or 2 players, because as soon as they can catch you out on mistake, suddenly the rest of you are free food, you know what I mean? But I think for Looming Fruit, it comes together so nicely. You're all just the same grape on the same branch, and it's like, okay, who do we even if we take one, there's 4 more, and that's kind of what it feels like. And yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun match to watch though, because it feels like an age-old rivalry at this point.
Oh, for sure. But I feel like everybody, even when there's rivalries, everybody likes Savoury characters. You said that they're the fan favorite because you're a fan of them, but I feel like partially just because of how they're involved in the admin team, they're chatting with a lot of people, they're writing articles about the league. They're in everybody's good graces. Everybody loves playing against them, and it's always fun to watch them play because of how many crazy games they put up. On the other side of things, Marci Beaucoup against Team Drip. That is not an upper bracket matchup I think a lot of people are expecting, but Marci Beaucoup have looked so dominant. Again, haven't dropped a game yet in this bracket. Neither team has.
It's so sick because they've really come into their own come playoffs, right? Like,
Yeah.
and it was already predicted. Like at the start, we already knew that. Okay, look, like these guys, even though they're losing these games, like they got something, right? They
Yeah.
got something going. And it's very cool to see it come to fruition.
Yeah. And, you know, we look back at the group stage. Team Drip split a series with Looming Fruit. Who was the one other team that managed to take a game off of Team Drip? It was Marci Beaucoup. So this is not the free series that it might sound like when you look at an upper bracket final between a 1 seed and a 7 seed. This is going to be a competitive match. This is going to be a fun one to watch, and especially seeing what Marci Beaucoup just did to Savoury characters. Like, Drip need to figure out the answer to this draft. They need to be able to out-tempo them. They need to figure out how to, you know, take those team fights in the late game into these positionings, be able to figure out how to get Roche against this team when they're taking this perfect positioning. Like, all of these series we have coming up, both in this bracket and the other ones. I mean, WLDL, it is always just such a fun time.
Agree. I think more fun games to come. But yeah, thank you for having me on. I didn't even really want to cast, but it was so fun to ask. And I think game 2 was really... It was soul crushing as a Savoury Characters fan, but at the same time, I think really cool to see Marci Beaucoup show up big time.
Yeah, for sure. It was absolute blast. Thank you so much for joining me. Always a pleasure to have you on the cast. And yeah, that's gonna do it for us today. Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. I'm often solo casting anyway, so always great to have a co. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. The Discord for WLDL is the best place to look for when matches are coming up. Casters will be posting their streams. You'll see I've been trying to maintain a schedule of upcoming matches.
Courtesy of you is, I mean...
Yeah, I've been, I kind of stumbled into the wrangler of the casters for this season, and I've been enjoying it.
Yeah. You've done a great job. It's so much easier to actually cast games now that, like, you don't have to sort of scroll up, look for that specifically. Like, it makes the whole process so much simpler. And I think the reason why we have such a high percentage of games cast is thanks to you. So you should at least pat yourself on the back for that work. It's great work, so.
Thank you. I've been having a good time with it, and I love this league, so it's been fun getting to, you know, take part even more in it, helping things go smoothly. So yeah, check out the my pinned message in the WLDL streams channel. I don't think any games for the next round are scheduled. We've kind of hit a nice clean separation point. I can tab through the other... Yeah, all of the brackets are kind of in the same spot now, because the other 2 brackets are smaller. So they also have their upper bracket finals set. So yeah, we're getting into the depth of the playoffs. Some fun stuff to keep an eye out for. So look out for that. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great rest of your weekend. And good night.